by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
So we established a new civil rights cause of action for those whose intimate images were shared on the public screen. How many times have you heard, I'll bet everybody knows somebody somewhere along the line, that in an intimate relationship, what happened was the guy takes a revealing picture of his naked friend or whatever in a compromising position, and then literally, in a sense, blackmails or mortifies that person. Send it out, put it online.
And before you granted this fentanyl kingpin's motion to reduce his sentence, did you contact any of the victims from his case?
Senator, thank you for allowing me to address Mr. Young's situation.
I asked a simple question. Did you contact the victims in his case or not?
Senator, Mr. Young was not released. His sentence was reduced, and I did not contact the victims in his case because there were no victims. He committed a crime, a drug crime. There were no identifiable victims in his case.
Drug crime is not a victimless crime. 100,000 Americans were killed by overdoses.
Understood.
Now the Ukraine, and St. Patrick's name is now Zelensky.
Imagine a future. The freight trucks that deliver bread and milk to our grocery store shelves, and the buses that take children to school and parents to work. Imagine all the heavy-duty vehicles that keep our supply lines strong and allow our economy to grow. Imagine that they produced zero emissions. Well, you all imagined it. That's why we're here today. Because we have the ability to see what can be, unburdened by what has been, and then to make the possible actually happen.
More to report. With regard to food shortages, yes, we did talk about food shortages. And it's going to be real. The price of these sanctions is not just imposed upon Russia. It's imposed upon an awful lot of countries as well, including European countries and our country as well.
Refuse to go along with this, and I'm seeing through all of your lies, Barack Obama, you wicked, wicked devil!
Oh my god. Freaking Pelosi still gets me every freaking time. And it's now Ukraine, and St. Patrick is now Zelensky.
Welcome back to another night of Stick with Koolfrogg. I do have America's shirts with me tonight. How's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty good. Oh god.
It's going okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You get those trees cut down?
No. They're still there. I guess they'll be. I mean, I don't know. I don't know who the hell to call for this because it's a power line, right? Like it's the whole everything runs on the freaking line. But the trees are actually hanging on top of the telephone wire.
Which to me doesn't make sense why the power companies still wouldn't take care of it, because doesn't everything come off the same pole?
Well, yeah, but I don't know. It's like
you'd think that they would just be concerned that it might just knock something else out and then just take it out for you.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to, because my mother was going to call for that, and then my grandfather was even talking about crap. He went back there to look at it because he's a former electrician himself. He did stuff on poles and everything else, and he, for whatever reason, wasn't able to contact anybody. So I think I'm going to have to just make a day and just make phone calls and try to talk to somebody and be like, hello. But yeah, there's all those lovely trees. They're just hanging there, just hanging out there on the wire.
We got somebody in chat. Hey, Mitchell. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, aloha. Long time no listen to. I guess. Long time no see.
So what we're going to do tonight is we're actually going to go over today's Trump rally. Before we actually get into it, let's just straight out give you the disclaimer. We're not at any point in time saying that this guy is a legitimate president. The most legitimate president is your current president, who is Joe Biden. There's nothing you can do about that.
Most legitimate. And again, as a matter of fact, according to Facebook, I read it on Facebook, it's fact checked, right? This is the single most legitimate presidency ever to have ever been recorded in the history of presidentials. So, I mean, you know, it is official. It is the single most legitimate. I mean, there's been other legitimate presidencies, but like this one's the most legitimate one, if you know what I'm saying, right? Like it's the single most legitimate. And Bill Gates is your new god. Okay, let's you know,
yeah, right. So, like I said, we're going to go through Trump rally. I do have RSBN's feed pulled up like I normally do. Thank you, RSBN, for doing your job and doing what you do. We're going to fair use it again.
Most impressive.
No, yeah, they haven't bugged me about me using their content. I really enjoy the fact that they actually let me.
Well, yeah, because if they bugged you, you'd eat them because you're a frog.
Correct. With my long tongue, I'd just eat them. So, let's see here. Let's see how this starts out.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I don't know why I'm trying to laugh like you today. That was failure. But
United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
An American, or at least I know I'm free. We can't play the song because they don't allow us. Just gonna sit here in silence while he comes
just
out.
Sit in silence.
Well, we'll mute them anyway. We won't sit in silence because we're gonna talk and we're like, yeah, you can see that, you know, people are excited to see him.
Look at all of those hail the dear leader symbols going on, right? Oh no, they're all Yahtzees. It's just, you know. Oh, Stars and Stripes, that's definitely a Yahtzee.
They're all like, look, we all got a shot of him. Everybody's got their cell phones out. That guy's got 2 cell phones out.
Oh God.
Like everybody's like, yes, I have to record this.
Oh, Mitchell Embry asks, wait, when was this rally?
This is today's rally. This was 7:25 Eastern time tonight. Or what? I suppose now it's now the next day. It's the 3rd, but yes, on the 2nd.
April Fools. No, I'm just kidding. It's past April Fools.
So new content. You know, so this is out of Washington, Michigan. They actually had some issues with this venue. Like they were saying that it was too small for what he wanted to do. Sheriffs were trying to call for it to be moved to another venue because of possible issues.
And banned. No, I'm just kidding.
And well, that's the thing. It's just like, well, you know, it's music, so you know, you kind of you get a few seconds. God bless the USA.
Yes, Koolfrogg, sing it too. We won't get banned for singing it too.
With that frog in my throat. Mm.
You're a cannibal?
Thank you. Well, that's some crowd. We have thousands of people outside. Hello, Michigan. It's great to be with you. to be with you. So nice. And we just came in. We have thousands and thousands of people outside, and it's an honor.
Mitchell says,
and I wish this building
so
were about
wanna
4
go.
or 5 times larger, but we love you, and we put up a screen outside. And I hope they
He'll
can
come
see
closer
it. And it's not that
soon
cold.
enough.
It's not
And
that
you don't
cold.
have to go for
I
such
went
a
to
long
South
trip.
Carolina. It was the coldest night they have on record. It was 29 degrees. I said, that's cold. But we had great crowds in Georgia last week and now here and all over the country. They love us and we love you. Thank you very much. And I'm thrilled to be back with you in your beautiful state with thousands and thousands of hardworking, proud American patriots. That's what you are. You built our country. 7 months from now, the people of Michigan are going to fire the radical left Democrats who are destroying our country.
Yay! Do
And
it.
you're going to throw out Gretchen Whitmer, the job that she's done.
Just gonna toss Gretchen
And
to
you're
the
going to
curb.
elect an incredible slate of
Allegedly.
proud America First Republicans up and down the ballot. And together we are going to end crazy Nancy Pelosi's political career once and for all.
Mitchell will say it does not take very much to look better than
The stakes
Joe
of this
Biden.
year's
But
midterm
they usually say that,
elections
you know,
could not
presidency
be higher.
takes time.
I don't think we've ever had a time.
You know, off of your life or whatever. And like if you watched people like Obama, you know, turn gray. But, you know, Trump still looks like he did the second he walked into office. I really don't see that much of a
with
difference.
Obama, it was a little bit of like too much adrenochrome. What?
Oh.
Who? I don't know.
Oh.
Did you hear something? I don't know. I don't hear anything.
So then I was just looking it up real quick. It looks like the next time that he's going to talk would be the 9th of April. And he's going to be in Selma, North Carolina. So he's going to go back closer south. So, you know, maybe the next one after that, he'll come back up here. He has a tendency to do this, you know, once or twice a week, it seems.
In our country where we felt so low, so dejected. What's going on is absolutely unacceptable. We're living through the most dangerous period of our lifetime, and we have a president who has no idea what's going on. He has no idea what he's doing, and he's got no idea what he's saying or where he is. Other than that, he's doing a fantastic job. The presidential election was rigged and stolen, and because of that, our country is being destroyed.
This is his words, not mine.
Maybe nothing.
I didn't say that. That was what he said. That doesn't mean that that's exactly what happened. I don't believe it actually was that exact. But, you know, we'll let him believe what he wants to believe. Just so you're aware, Susan.
We can do to stop Joe Biden's mental and physical decline. With your vote this November, we can stop our country's decline and make America great again.
This isn't the last time he says that to me.
Everything the radical left touches turns into a catastrophic mess, the likes of which we have never seen before. To this extent, we have never seen anything like it before. Biden and the congressional Democrats triggered massive inflation. They declared war on American energy, and the middle class is now being crushed by the highest gas and food prices in the history of our country. Can you believe it? Bloodthirsty criminals and vicious thugs are running wild on the streets of our Democrat-run cities. Ambush-style attacks on police officers, along with police officer deaths, have more than doubled in a single year, and violent carjackings are ravaging Detroit, Chicago, Minneapolis, and Milwaukee, and many other cities at a rate never before seen. Think of that. Biden is appointing far-left crazies to the federal bench and ordering and you know what's happening here with the Department of Justice? They're targeting parents. They're targeting you. They're targeting all of us, but they're targeting parents, good, beautiful parents. They're being targeted. He's begging and pleading with Iran to re-enter the disastrous nuclear deal that I terminated. That was a great termination. We would have had a deal had the election been different. By the way, we had some great election, and you people delivered. Unfortunately, the vote counters didn't deliver.
It's terminated or it's back on. It's like, but we're just gonna say like, oh, it's great terminated. I just love how he talks.
Yeah, he's the best. But, you know, still not our president.
Yeah, we did win. And you know, if we didn't, I'd be the first one to stand up and say we didn't. We won by a lot, not just a little bit. We won by a lot. Biden delivered the single worst humiliation in American history with his surrender in Afghanistan. That was terrible. And now Biden's weakness has given us the Ukraine disaster. It's a horrible thing to watch. Biden is also now pleading with the Venezuelan dictator to sell us oil. What do we need his oil for? We have so much right under our own feet, more than any other country. We have liquid gold under our own feet, and we're dealing with Venezuela, a far cry from the Trump administration where we were energy independent for the first time in the history of our country. That was a year and a half ago. Seems like a long time ago, but we were energy independent. We were selling oil to other countries. We were making an absolute fortune. And you remember when, not so long ago, a year and a half ago, $1.87 a gallon. Remember that? And remember what I said during the debate and other times? I said, you don't pick me, you're going to be paying $7, $8, $9. I said that. And I said, you're going to be trading in your big, luxurious cars and trucks.
He did.
Yep.
He repeated it several times where he said $7, $8, $9. And
you know how much gasoline is in California? $8.
Yeah, about $8. It hasn't quite gotten to the $9 because reserves haven't been depleted quite yet.
Oh my God. Can you imagine whenever... Because see, this Friday, and ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, and I believe we mentioned this yesterday, Russia officially stopped all transactions in the U.S. Dollar, in U.S. currency, and they will only take transactions for their oil and for, doing buying and selling and stuff in the Russian ruble.
Yeah.
So, as it pertains to oil, you will see this skyrocket.
Yeah,
it is going
exactly.
To
the second that because we're going to take our reserves and we're going to give them to Europe to help them with their issue or whatever, because they're not going to be able to pay Russia for the stuff that they need. So we're going to give our reserves to Europe, which is going to increase the price of our stuff yet again. I know that we just kind of talked about it yesterday or whatever, where we pulled up a thing about Biden and him wanting to release the reserves, and it's like, he just wants to watch us, sink. We're not gonna. It's gonna get so expensive in the next few months. It's gonna be ridiculous.
And again, think about the transportation of food, all other goods, clothing, everything, because everything's transported for the most part through trucks and tractor trailers. That's all going to go down because they're not going to.
You mean I can't go to the grocery store and just get groceries at any point in time because the groceries are already there?
3 days, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
3
yeah,
days
3 days.
is the grocery store's limit, and then they're out of everything. That's it. 3 days. So if this goes to if the shit hits the fan, you got 3 days. I mean, that's how bad this could go. Like, you could see everything go to shit within a week. Like, complete shit. Not just skyrocketing prices. I mean, literal entire sections of cities, there's no food within a matter of 3 days.
Yeah, exactly, Mitchell. Steel is off the charts. It's not just the steel, and it's not just the one thing or the other. It's everything. Everything is being depleted to the point, and cost is going up so much. I mean, look at the price of corn right now. The price of corn is ridiculous. We use corn for everything.
I mean, they are collapsing they're collapsing everything because they want to buy it all up for pennies on the dollar. This is the globalist plan. This is what they talk about. This is what they want to do now. And then, of course, as we see in the World Government Summit, obviously, right, we're going to have a new currency come out, right, after this one, right, because they're collapsing everything like this. The inflation's going through the roof. So not only are these things becoming rare and therefore becoming expensive, but, again, the dollar itself is deflating in value. So it's not just stagflation or inflation, it's dragflation is what the terminology that I've heard that it's called, which is both of those things, which are inflation's going through the roof. There's people aren't going for jobs because the jobs require all kinds of different things now, and people are even being fired from their jobs for not having certain little jabby stabbies. And then, of course, the supply chain breakdowns that happened during the Koolfrogg lockdowns and all that. Combine that all with now, shutting down oil, the sanctions on the Russians, food supply chains, all of that is now coming to a head now. And then with the inflation that's hitting now, and then you're cutting off oil supply in the United States, everything is hitting the fan now. This is like full, just 90 degrees straight down collapse, like freaking fast as lightning. I mean, this is going to hit the fan at some point. Like you're going to wake up one day and it's just going to be like, oh, food trucks haven't come to the store for a day. I got 2 days now. I mean, like that's what it's going to be. Like unless this company is like really freaking wanting to spend all of their money on gas to get something from one place to another, like lickety split, which again, obviously driving still takes time.
Mm-hmm. Before I push the button on this, everybody that's watching, anybody that's not watching, if you're going to watch later on, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below, hit the share, hit the like, and the ring the bell. Do all that stuff. Do everything that you need to do to actually get this information out so that people can actually see this. Not everybody realizes that you can actually go back and watch Trump rally over and over again or whatever because, RSBN is smart about it and they have their own platform that they put the stuff on, which is, the rsbnetwork.com, which is where I'm watching this. If you really like their stuff, you should actually go and find their channel as well. Make sure you subscribe to them. Oh, yeah. They do a wonderful job letting everybody know what's actually going on as opposed to watching the rest of media that tells you nothing. Yeah. I'm sure they barely even covered this whole hour and 50 minutes worth of content, and they just they probably nitpicked one little thing out of it and said, oh, look what he just said.
Everybody's talking about like, oh my god, what's going through Putin's head? Putin is senile.
Yeah, that's a good one for you to actually have is a lot of rice right now, as well as any other dry food. Don't go and store canned goods or water. Canned goods and water really you're going to have a hard time storing that kind of stuff. They say store dry foods, bags of beans and rice, because you can get water. They're saying that you can,
better than rice though is quinoa is what it's called. It's Q-U-I-O-N-A, is how it's spelled, and that lasts longer than rice will actually, and it's pretty much just like rice for the most part. The taste, it really texture.
Is. It tastes pretty much about the same.
Right, and it looks just about the same, except for it's in a ball shape rather than elongated. So, but anyway, that's just a little
several different colors, different
also,
variations.
Parboiled rice is good as well. I've noticed parboiled rice will last long because of the way in which they parboil it. And I would suggest try to get
couscous is a good one. There's a couple other different variations of dried goods that are actually good to actually store and that stay a while before they, they require some.
I mean, some places you can get a nice bag of like rice and other different things, like a nice size bag.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other thing? it was parboiled that I said, and the way in which they make it, it's. The thing I was going to say was that you should really look for things that are non-GMO'd for the most part, because it's going to be healthier for you in the long run if you're going to store things. It's just better for you. I mean, it's better for you now. So, I mean, if you can, at the very least, try and get some stuff that's non-GMO. Because when you're limited in your food, and the only food that you can have is something like a starch, like a rice, and that's the only thing you can eat, then, if all of it is GMO'd, and it's the only thing you can have, it's the only thing that you have for food, then it may have a more cumulative effect than what you previously would have had when you diluted it with other different foods and other different things, if you know what I'm saying. Like, it's more concentrated rather than being diluted with, like, a meat or another type of a vegetable that might be non-GMO or whatever, or might be, or, like maybe something else. Like if you're just having a bowl of rice and all of that is genetically modified and it's sprayed with glyphosate and crap, like, I mean, that's going to build up faster because it's the only thing you're consuming rather than it being diluted in other different things and so forth. So I would suggest that you try and get, if you can at all possible, get something that is at the very least non-GMO. So that's just, anyways. But again, like he's talking about the gas thing and stuff. I mean, that's huge because everything runs off gas. Everything runs off oil. Trucks run off oil. Cars run off oil. Everything runs off oil. Freaking, everything electric, because everything is electric. Everything runs off oil and coal. And if they're running out the oil supplies, everything is going to be affected.
And if you're one of those silly ones that are out there and you're sitting there thinking, oh man, I have an electric car, I'm going to be good. Think about it where you're plugging that into and where that energy is actually coming from, because it's all the same thing. Really, I mean, you're really not saving, quote unquote, the planet by actually, buying an electric car. It's not something that's really necessary right now. You really need to start thinking about other things than that.
Yeah.
Let's see what else this president,
let's
ex-president has to say.
For little tiny cars.
The
choice this November is very simple. If you want high crime, high prices, high taxes, high corruption, and high incompetence, vote for the radical Democrats. If you want a country that is strong, sovereign, solvent, safe, and secure.
And we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and you should vote for us as a result. It's like, well, who the hell votes for someone who's going to raise your taxes? Oh, yeah, libtards.
Yep.
But I mean, that's where we are. That's how crazy it is. Like, politicians on the Dem side are literally telling you, we're going to raise your prices, we're going to raise your energy costs, we're going to raise everything through the roof, and you're not going to own anything, and you're going to be happy. Please vote for us. Like, that's what they're saying to your face.
That's exact words. Yeah.
And it's like,
you'll have nothing,
holy
and
shit.
you will be happy.
It's
you're gonna force me to be happy? Oh, okay. I have stuff right now, and not always am I happy. When you think about it, you're going to take it away, and you're going to make me say that I'm still happy? Okay. Quit lying to people.
Ago, but we were energy independent. We were selling oil to other countries. We were making an absolute fortune. And you remember when, not so long ago, a year and a half ago, $1.87 a gallon.
Yeah, I moved it back a little bit.
Remember that? And remember what I said during the debate and other times? I said, you don't pick me, you're going to be paying $7, $8, $9. I said that. And I said, you're going to be trading in your big, luxurious cars and trucks for little tiny cars.
Mitchell says that.
The choice this November is very simple. If you want high crime, high prices, high taxes, high corruption, and high incompetence, vote for the radical Democrats. If you want a country that is strong, sovereign, solvent, safe, and secure, you must vote for America First Republicans. Have to do it. But of all the
Some
Biden
of Trump's
catastrophes,
endorsements,
perhaps
though,
none
have
is
been just trash. Some of his endorsements have just been garbage.
Yeah, I mean, not everything that he's done is like the best thing for anybody, really. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can nitpick on or whatever, but there's so many more things that you can nitpick on when it comes to Joe Biden. I mean, you can pick on a guy for his inability to run a country, or you can pick on another guy for his inability to run a country. I mean, they both. I think that there should be somebody else that should be running in this position or whatever come 2024. But, obviously this guy's going to do what he wants to do. Right, exactly. You don't see anybody else at the moment. Right. There needs to be somebody that's going to be willing to stand up and say, well, maybe I want to throw my hat in the race, and they need to actually do a caucus or whatever, as opposed to actually just throwing this guy into the mix and saying, okay, this is what it's going to be.
Right. I mean, to be perfectly honest,
because it's going to be 2020 all over again.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, if it was freaking Tulsi Gabbard versus a rhino Republican, I would probably vote Tulsi Gabbard, honestly. Like, if it was between a rhino freak hack Republican who's just as much of these establishment hacks and globalist freaks as much as the Democrats are. I mean, it's pretty much just one and the same anyway. Like, you're
We're
voting
pointing
outside
fingers
of the
at you, Lindsey.
Oh, what, Lindsey Graham?
I noticed that it buffered on this side as well, so I mean, hopefully it kind of holds up here.
It's not really buffering for me on my stream, but anyways,
okay.
but yeah, I mean, that's just us just chatting about that a little bit, but I mean, but his picks for America First, as he said, like America First Republicans. I'll give you an example of one that's just. I mean, it's like, come on, dude, like really. Like, we didn't do any looking into this. In Wyoming, he's picking someone else to run in place of Liz Cheney. And it's literally Liz Cheney's, girlfriend from college or whatever, freaking, like her little friend out in Wyoming that has been with the Cheneys forever. And now all of a sudden she's like, oh, I'm going to run in place of Liz Cheney and whatever. And it's like, these people have been friends their entire lives. And now this woman that you have picked to run in Liz Cheney's place as quote-unquote America First is a BFF of Liz Cheney and still is? Like, what the hell? Like, can no one do their due diligence here? Like, God. I mean, if we're going to do, like, populist America First type people, like, you've got to literally do that. Or else people are going to think you're lying. Like, people in Trump's orbit, Trump world people, wake the hell up. Like, stop putting people like that in when we should all know full damn well. Of course, I still think there's people inside of his circle that are kind of trying to undermine him as well. And of course, there's carelessness. Certain places, I guess, competence in certain places, but at the same time, I mean, that's just it's a little much for me. I'm like, okay, this is just stupid. Like, so not every single pick that Trump picks is the one that you're going to want to vote for. You need to look at all this yourself first.
Yeah, I mean, just like anybody else that you're voting for, always look at who you're actually voting for before you do it. Don't just sit there and be like, oh, they told me that I should vote for this guy, so I'm going to vote for this guy.
That you like or trust or whatever. Like, you've got to look for yourself.
Got to look at it all.
Because people are human beings, and sometimes, even though they might have good intentions, sometimes they make mistakes. That's why you got to look for yourself. So anyways.
Okay.
It's more dangerous or devastating than his complete annihilation of America's borders. What's happening? What's happening? When I left office, we handed the new administration the most secure border in the history of our country. We never had a border so secure ever before, and that includes drugs coming in. We never had anything like it. We had ended catch and release. We had stopped asylum fraud and built nearly 500 miles of beautiful wall, just like the Border Patrol wanted. Our border was sealed. Our border was sealed. We had the lowest numbers ever recorded. But then Biden and the open
Unlike
borders,
blue, no matter who.
these extremists, these sick
rhymes.
extremists, systematically dismantled the border security measures we put into place and brought illegal aliens streaming across the southern border in numbers like we've never seen before. And the real numbers are even higher than those being reported. They're at a level that nobody's even thought possible. Just yesterday, the Biden administration terminated the critical Title 42 protection that I put into place to ensure expedited removals. With this foolhardy plan to end Title 42, Biden will be opening the floodgates to a far greater extent than even now, and we will be deluged by illegal immigration like no country.
Deluged. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what's going to happen. Is he canceled that Title 42 or whatever, which cancels the asylum seeker thing or whatever, which for whatever reason is going to open up, anybody that wants to come into the United States, free reign just to do what they want. But
wait, so that means that they took off the requirement, or one of the requirements, to say that you're seeking asylum. So now it's just, "Hi, I want to be here." Okay.
Yeah.
Like you don't even have to lie
Title
anymore.
42 was something that Trump actually signed into. I believe the Title 42 was Trump's signature that said they stayed in Mexico until certain things were.
Oh, it's the stay in Mexico thing where.
Yeah, I believe that's what it is.
If they want to claim, if they're like, "Oh, hey, I come across the border," and it's like, "Well, you got to go back to wherever you were," and then and then you go home from there or whatever. Like now, okay. Well, the Biden administration reversed that at first, then they brought it back. Now they're taking it away again.
Now they're going to take it away, right?
Well, see, that's just how this works, isn't it? Right? Like they up the tyranny, and then that's too much. So then we got to dial it back a little bit so people take their guard off, and then now they're going to turn it back on, and then everybody's going to be like, "What the hell? Like, wait! But did they just do this? Didn't they just take that off and put that back on? Well, okay, well it's back on now, right? Well, why would they take it off again? Well, wait, I thought Fox News said that. Oh, look, the Biden administration is getting common sense. They're making it work because they're trying to get you to turn your eyes away so they can do it again.
Yeah, look away. Don't pay attention to what we are doing.
That's exactly what it is. That's how they operate. That's how they do this. And of course, all this is run by these globalist people. This is run by George Soros, the UN. They want to flood the southern border with a bunch of people and flood the United States with these people so that they can degrade the United States all the further. I mean, that's all stated. That's all what they want to do. So that's who's paying for all these politicians and people to do this, even at the local level. Is George Soros and his lackeys and all that. So
they're on their way. They are on their way. Yes, there's plenty of people that are on their way to the United States to deluge what we have as a population.
Oh yeah, and especially whenever, and again, you have to also think of this, right? Whenever the United States suffers economically, really hard. The third world dies of starvation. They have no food. Like, before you don't have food, they already didn't have food for like 5 months or 6 months. Like, that's how that works. That's how the supply chains and things work. So, if we're experiencing bad things here now and pricing and everything else, the third world is like hell as it pertains to those particular
I couldn't
things.
imagine,
And so when all this comes to a head in the United States, and these people flood across the border, it's not just going to be like, like 10 million like we saw the last time. It's going to literally flood. Like, that's what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're going to be thinking, oh, God, the United States is better off than wherever the hell we came from.
Just watch how much a hot dog is going to cost in the next few months.
And then they're going to find out that they're going to flood the United States, and then they're going to dip the United States economy even further. And then, now we've created the same hellhole that we came from.
Right.
I mean, that's what they're planning. That's what they want to do. Of course, I mean, this all can be stopped. But, states can do things. Local politicians can do things. Got to contact your congressmen, your senators, and all that. And you got to put the right people in office this year.
Yeah, pay attention to your local people. Don't pay attention to just the president, because paying attention to just the president's going to get you all upset. You're like, orange man bad, and you're not going to be thinking of anything else. You're just going to be like, oh, we should just go and mark this down ballot, and you're going to not be paying attention to who you're marking. Pay attention to your ballot.
Right, exactly.
Pay attention to your ballot so much. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, as it pertains to, though, illegal immigration, not only do these illegal immigrants immigrate to the United States, but they also have to immigrate into a state within the United States. So if your state government is big on this, and if your state government refuses these people, then you might be fine. It'll just be some liberal hellhole someplace.
Right. We can give you a really, really good, for instance, that nobody really paid attention to until it was too late. And that's what Obama did with the 70,000 Muslims that he allowed to take place in one group lump sum in one county in the state of Minnesota to elect somebody such as Ilhan Omar. I mean, I know I go back to that one often, but that's because I'm from the state of Minnesota, and that's the easy one to actually let you know about, is if you're not paying attention to your local government, things like that happen.
Yep. And of course, you also have to watch out for your Rhino Republicans, because they'll be like, oh yeah, sure, we're not going to allow anybody. And then Joe Biden will fly in airplanes full of people at night and then drop them off, and then your state government will just let them go through, because they don't know what the hell's going on. You got to get tough ass people in there, and they got to mean business. And whenever the Fed comes in, it's like, oh yeah, we have the right to put these people here. Your state government people have to know what the hell's going on and say, no, we have a federalist system. You don't just don't get to tyrannically throw these people wherever the hell you want. Like we have a federalist system in place where we have states and localities as well. Like, you just can't go off and just throw this shit around. So you got to have sheriffs. You got to make sure that your people are there to stop from this deluge of illegal immigrants that may.
So I just this caught my eye as we're sitting here, and I'm getting ready to click on this button here, and I'm like, oh, it says court rules Stormy Daniels now owes President Trump over $500,000. Really? I didn't know that. That's what the headline is. It says underneath the banner there. It says court rules Stormy Daniels now owes President Trump over $500,000. That's why you don't go and tell lies about things to get your way.
Very true.
The Blue Eye Flight. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is.
I have no clue.
Okay, let's.
Country has ever witnessed or
like
had
CBS
to endure
news reporter
an estimated 500,000 illegal aliens per month, and now it's probably even 1 million people per month are pouring into our country, and you have many of these people are criminals. This could be 12 million people a year. That's a big percentage of the people in our country itself. Not the 3 million that is commonly being reported. That's fake news by all those people. Look at all those people. Fake news. Yeah, it's fake news. This could be 10 or 12 million people coming in a year. This is incredible what's happening, and that getting rid of all of these, Remain in Mexico. You know about Remain? I made a deal with Mexico. Remain in Mexico. Don't come here. He ended it. He wanted to end the deal. And now the courts are forcing him because they say we had a deal. So he's going with a much more somber deal, not a good deal, and not a proper deal, and not a deal that's going to work. Remember, as almost everyone said, I was right about everything, and that's true. I was right about everything. Fuel, the border, the military. And you were right, too. You were right, too. When I'm right, you're right. Biden and the radical Democrats are spending billions and billions of dollars trying to secure the...
You're laughing. What's going on?
Oh, it's just a statement. When I'm right, you're right. Oh, God.
Trump calls on Putin to release information on Hunter Biden.
Oh, please do. Oh, I want Putin to come out.
Why he's not.
I've said this before. I want Putin to come out with freaking, allegedly, right? With all this stuff of just do like a full blown PowerPoint, whatever, and just show it all, and be like, and this is this, and this is this, or whatever. Just do it. I mean, we know he has it. I mean, Hunter Biden said it himself. He's like, oh shit, like a Russian spy laser took my laptop. I mean, he said it on audio. Like, we know they have this shit. Like, he's like, yeah, I know she's working for Russian government. Like, damn, she must have been a spy. She ran off. Woke up this morning and she's not there on my laptop and cell phone's gone. That's like, oh yeah, really.
The borders of distant foreign countries, many of which you've never even heard of. But I believe Americans deserve a president who will secure our borders, the borders of our nation, who will protect our citizens, who will defend our sovereignty, and who will stop the biggest invasion ever of our country and probably of any country. There's never been anything like it. We're being invaded, and that's the word. We're being invaded by millions and millions of people. Many of them are criminals who should not be allowed into our country. We're going to be paying a price
into the first world,
and a very big one long into the future. You'll wait and see. Unfortunately, I'll be right about that one too. And that includes the thousands and tens of thousands of people we took in from Afghanistan. They rushed the planes. 3% of those people were entitled to come back. 3%. We have thousands and thousands of people. They rushed those planes, and those planes took off with 28 people falling off the sides. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. These people don't know what they're doing, but our country is being systematically destroyed. It's being destroyed. Nothing like this has ever happened to another country. Even a third world country protects their borders at least a little bit. And let there be no doubt, the Biden administration is resetting this humongous wave of illegal aliens in communities like yours all across America. Congratulations. And demanding that you, the American taxpayer, pay the cost, just like they resettle thousands of unvetted, unscreened Afghan refugees all over Michigan. You know that, right?
Yep, we left Americans.
Does anybody have a whole group of people that got resettled next to your beautiful little house or big house or club? Yeah, there. Look at all those hands go up.
And then
too
we
many
took
hands
all
are
these
going
bunch
up.
of freaking randos.
If any part of our country is going to be turned into a migrant camp,
what we did.
It should not be the communities of hardworking Americans. It should be the neighborhoods of the radical left politicians who have callously thrown open America's borders.
Yep, dump them all on Martha's Vineyard. Just be like, hey,
even as Biden has opened our borders to the largest number of illegal aliens in history by far,
that's what they tell us.
He has handcuffed our great ICE agents. These are brave people. These are people that go all over the country. They go into, they call them nests of killers. And they go charging in and they take them out and they throw them the hell out of our country and bring them back where they came from. These are great people, and they're scorned by the radical left. They're keeping your communities safe. Our ICE agents and slashed. If you take a look at the deportations, they cut the hell out of it. They want to get rid of ICE. They want to get rid of Border Patrol. These are incredible patriots. These are people that are very brave. I see some very tough people on the front row.
And this is happening in Europe.
Not one of those people want to be an ICE agent.
It's happening in Europe.
None of them want to be an ICE. That's tough. ICE has been functionally abolished to grant safe haven to savage gang members like MS-13 and vicious criminals just as AOC plus 3. You know who AOC plus 3 is? Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar. That's another beauty. They've always dreamed this is what they want. And just like they've destroyed Israel from within the halls of Congress, they're totally, Israel has taken a hit like no other country has taken. It used to be hands off Israel 15 years ago. Today, Israel is scorned and mocked by these people like never before. They're looking to load up our country with murderers, with drug dealers, with human traffickers, and thugs. And that's what's happening, too. The radical Democrats believe America should be a sanctuary for dangerous criminal aliens. Republicans believe our country should be a sanctuary for law-abiding Americans and people that want to live the American dream. Whatever happened to the American dream? They want to destroy our country, and they want to destroy the American dream. They don't want you to have the American dream. One of the first bills a Republican Congress will pass is to dramatically increase funding for ICE and Border Patrol and law enforcement so they can hire thousands of new agents to find and remove every single illegal alien who's causing us unbelievable problems.
I personally don't like
that unlawfully
police
allowed
and everything else, but
and was
if
allowed.
the crime is skyrocketing, if the necessity requires it, well then, there you go. Oh, Senor Koolfrogg has returned.
Yes, I'm here.
Aloha.
To come into our country. You could take
Welcome back
the first
to your stream.
and make it 5, 2, 12, but you could take the 5 worst presidents in American history and probably a hell of a lot more than that and put them together, and they would not have done the damage that Joe Biden has done in our country in just 15 months. The damage is
because it's purposeful. It's
unbelievable,
intentional.
but
it's too
not
stupid
irreparable.
to be
Isn't
stupid.
it nice? I'm saying it's not irreparable. We can fix it. Otherwise, there's no reason for me to be here. We can fix it. We're gonna fix it.
What the hell's going on.
We're gonna fix it. What a shame. What a shame.
He's the puppet to get that.
Never been a period of time like this. As everyone is saying, Russia's outrageous invasion of Ukraine. Who would ever thought this was going to happen? I thought he was negotiating. He had 150,000 soldiers on the border. I said, oh, he's going to make a great deal. He could have made a great deal. I believe when he saw what happened in Afghanistan, the way we ran, and you know, when I was running that, 18 months, we didn't have one soldier killed in 18 months. And you've heard me tell the story. I spoke to Abdul. I said, Abdul, there's no more killing of us.
So, this kid right here is sitting off to the side. That's what I imagine the America shirts looks like. And his Trump hat. This kid right here with the glasses and the Save America in the red.
Well, first off, why the hell do you think that would look like me? And secondly, how do you know?
I don't know.
How do you know it's
That's
not?
that's what I'm like. It has to be him. That's exactly what he looks like. But
do you see the Lord God of jabs and stabbies, Bill Gates? Do you see that? Do you see that shirt being worn there? Because I can guarantee you, if that was me, Bill Gates' freaking jab hands would be right front center stage. That and either the other based T-shirts that aren't based to.
It's like a Superman T-shirt. It's underneath the button down.
Well, you can find all of those lovely T-shirts at AmericaShirtsAreFirst.com. That's AmericaShirtsAreFirst.com. The most based T-shirts on the planet, and save 15% on any shirt in the store with the discount code Koolfrogg. That is the discount code Koolfrogg to save 15% on any T-shirt in the store at AmericaShirtsAreFirst.com. Thank you for that opportunity to have a plug there, Koolfrogg.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to be hit so hard, you're going to be hit harder than anybody's ever been.
It looks like it's not going.
But why, Your Excellency, do you send me a picture of my house? Abdul, you'll have to ask other people that question. But you know what? Not one person was killed for 18 months, and Biden even said that. He stood up, he said, well, I have to say, nobody was killed in 18 months, at which case the television cameras were, turn off those cameras. They didn't like it when he said that. He didn't like it, but it's true. 18 months, and then we lost 13, but you know, they don't talk about how horribly so many of them were wounded with the legs and the arms and the face and everything else. But this invasion of Ukraine would never have happened if I was in the White House. Not even a chance. Would have never happened. Would have never happened.
And also,
not even
for me, you can find out everything about what's going on with Russia and Ukraine when you go to Rumble, and go to America Shirts. That's all one word, capital A, capital S, all one word at Rumble. And I have several videos pertaining to the Russia-Ukraine crisis and everything that is going on over there. You can check that out to find out the full story about everything that's going on. Also, Patrick Lancaster is the name of a independent journalist who is over there on the ground in Ukraine that I also reference in my videos as well.
That
and
some say is possibly controversial on some of the stuff that he does and how he gets to the places that he does, but you know, he's still very interesting to watch. So, I mean, do what you need to do with that and check him out.
He's there on the ground, interviewing people, talking to people, everyday people, military people, everybody. So, go check that out for the full story.
And I knew,
because you're not going to get it from here, unfortunately.
You know, the thing is if you actually came here to catch the plug about going to Rumble to catch anything else over there, make sure you subscribe here first. Then go over there and subscribe to that.
I mean, I don't think it matters what order per se, just so long as both get hit subscribe.
But if they came here and they caught that to catch the other, you know, that's in the succession that they're already being that they're already here, then make sure that they subscribe down below.
Correctamente, amigos.
Putin very well. You know, they say, oh, he knows Putin. He knows Putin. Oh, that's a good thing, not a bad thing. I know Kim Jong-un. I know President Xi of China. And you know what? We had no conflict, remember? North Korea is going to be a nuclear war, according to Obama and everybody else. What happened? Didn't happen. Although I tell you, he's not happy. He doesn't like the person in office right now. But nothing happened. We kept you safe. We rebuilt our military at a level that nobody thought possible.
And Kim Jong-un was going to sign the deal and try and decentralize his government in North Korea and actually do something good. And he was thinking about it and really kind of was wanting to go there. And then, of course, the Chinese, who, you know, run North Korea as their little puppet state, said no. So Kim Jong-un said no. And that's how that worked.
$85 billion of what we did, brand new,
Trump
beautiful
was very
stuff.
Successful with that.
And with the Ukraine, you remember that I sent the javelins and Obama sent the blankets, right? Those javelins that are doing the trick. Then they say Trump's friendly to Russia. Really? I'm the one that revealed the pipeline, Nord Stream 2. You never heard of the pipeline. Nobody. There's these crooked people back here. They're crooked as a...
Oh, come on now. You didn't reveal it. It was around before that. We knew about it. It's just not everybody knew about it. There wasn't everybody wasn't listening. It was just a few people that were listening.
Shh, Mitchell, shh. You have to be careful. These are base T-shirts. They are so base. The words cannot be spoken on YouTube without Susan's evil banhammer like coming down and like bashing your head in or something. Like, I mean, you know. Like, you have to, we have to be very cautious about the baseness.
Speaking about the baseness of certain things and talking about, you know, bringing up Susan, it just makes me think, and you know, the thing is Susan is so strange about what she requires me to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours before you can actually give me $1 on anything. You can't super chat me right now because I don't have the subscribers, which is ridiculous.
I am being
which is so ridiculous. And because it's so ridiculous, if you want to help me out right now, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/Koolfrogg, and you can actually donate anything that you wish there. Leave a comment, and I'll totally read it. Because, it's the way it is. We don't need Susan to make $1. We'll just go and we'll make the $1 over here.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, Mitchell, I am being a bit facetious. There are a couple of things you can say, but there are some things you cannot. Or you will get. You will feel the repercussions on the YouTube side. So.
Oh, wrong one. Let's do that one.
Then Koolfrogg goes, oh crap, too.
$4 bill. Can't say $2 bill because they actually make $2 bills. Yeah, that's a crooked bunch of people back there. They're corrupt. The press in this country is corrupt. They're corrupt, and they know it, too. All you had to do is look at what the New York Times just announced recently. That's all you have to do. In fact, I stand as the only president of the 21st century on whose watch Russia and Putin did not invade another country. In fact, I told this story on a show called Meet the Fake Press. Did you ever hear of it? It's Meet the Press.
It's called Meet the Fake Press. You ever heard of it?
But I call it Meet the Fake Press. Or Deface the Nation, right? One of them. But they asked whether or not they were talking to Blinken. He's another beauty. And they said, how come nothing happened like with Ukraine, with Taiwan, with North Korea? How come nothing happened with Iran? They were ready to make a deal. They would have made a great deal. Now they want billions and billions of dollars. But the good news is they were very smart. You know what they did? They got Russia to negotiate a deal with Iran. That's a good one. And you know who's helping Russia negotiate the deal? China. How's that? That's going to be a good. And you know how many points we've won? None. We won no points. So we have Russia negotiating the deal with China as a backup. How stupid is this country? How stupid are we? And the deal is a disaster. It's turning out to be. Nobody can even believe it. But we're given everything.
I bet that was the one question that mainstream media went, oh, how stupid can we be? And that's what they took and they ran with. And they're like, oh, yeah, that one right there.
Yeah.
No way.
Well,
All the things
they're going to ignore this entirely. I don't think they're going to play anything from Trump's rally. Because even though they have TDS, at this point, they have Putin derangement syndrome now. That's very much on steroids.
Yeah. But, because they're friends, so they should both be,
So they're going to ignore this like it doesn't exist, but,
that we fought for.
And notice, too, by the way,
they would
Fox
have made
News
a deal
used to
with
play
1
every
week.
one of these rallies. Now they won't play one damn thing, and they act like Trump's never been in office and nothing's ever damn well happened. I mean, sure, there's like a couple of Fox News pundit people, whatever, like, oh, Trump was fantastic, whatever. But it's like, no one talks about anything about Trump or Trump's rallies or anything. They just talk about Trump in the past tense. Like, oh, he was fine. Like, oh, he was great. Maybe he'll come back. It's like, well, what the hell? Like, he's out, like, still making speeches all the time. Like, oh, no, we can't cover that. We can't talk about that.
Like you said, it's like the next one's on the 9th, so like once a week on Saturday, it seems as though he goes out and actually does a little bit of a rally.
After we took office, they would have made a deal. They were
With
so ready to
thousands
make
and
a
thousands
deal.
and thousands of
We
people.
had sanctions. Well, that's a good question. We can do a lot. We can do a lot. And you know what? We have cards. We had all the cards. We still have cards. If they knew how to play them, they still have cards. The only thing they're good at is fixing elections.
Except
That's
Tucker
about the
Carlson.
only thing they do. Fixing elections.
Susan, I didn't say that he did, because no election was ever rigged.
Never.
Joe Biden is the
Ever.
most legitimate president ever.
Ever.
Potato.
Ever.
Rigging them. Also, during my 4 years, China never invaded Taiwan, did they? Huh? Now they're sending planes over, they're sending bombers over. You had a president who not only completely rebuilt our military, including the addition of Space Force. Remember, they smiled. Remember that? Something which has not happened since the Air Force 75 years ago. Space Force, it's going to be very important having it. You know, if you look at China and Russia, they had a big lead, and now we're leading because we did that. That was so important. But they laughed. And you remember Biden laughed, oh, Space Force. And then the woman with the really beautiful red hair, she left.
She left.
And she was hit so hard by the military because they knew I was right. The military understood I was right. You know, she's going to MSDNC. You know that, right?
Oh.
Right? They need a
Good to know,
redhead. They
Mitchell.
don't have a redhead over there, so they need a
Explicit
redhead.
content, I guess, now.
But
is
you
what could
also
call
had
it.
a president who always put our country first. It was America first, always.
Oh, and that Laura Reagan woman, that's also a verboten name now because she's become way too based. Fox will no longer have her on at all. Like, she's done.
Who?
For the most part. Her name's Laura Logan. She actually had a show, because he's talking about Fox Nation, like behind the paywall.
Yeah.
She actually had a show thing on Fox Nation. She's not even allowed as a guest on Fox News, like the public Fox News anymore. Like, she's done. Like, it's going to be here after a little bit. They're probably going to want to get rid of her and Tucker Carlson both, like, entirely. Like, I know Tucker, you know, he says, like, oh, yeah, publicly, you know, like, oh, yeah, you know, like, we're expanding, we're going to do things on Fox Nation, whatever, yada, yada, yada. Well, this is acceleration mode by the globalists. This is, you know, I mean, they're pulling all the stops. They're pulling everything because they cannot have this next election cycle to go through without some, shall we say, fortifications in place again. So, you know. But anyways.
Okay. Let's see.
Thank you.
Sign.
Okay, so just because I went and I Googled Trump rally just to see what it would come up with. And of course it comes up with the rally that happened, 20 hours ago, according to, for whatever reason, it was 20 hours that they posted it. Daily Beast says Trump casually suggests returning to Afghanistan at Michigan rally. C-SPAN says former President Trump rally. Yahoo News says Trump again repeated the claim that he won Michigan's Man of the Year award. The Guardian says, I don't do this often for state people. Trump stumps for Michigan candidates. Click on Detroit says what it's like inside former President Donald Trump's Washington whatever. Some of them are talking about it, but nothing that that was it. Because then
there's
the next,
nothing telling you about anything that's going on.
yeah,
Well,
nothing that's actually saying anything about the rally itself, other than C-SPAN saying that he was actually, is it showing the full C-SPAN? They're actually, C-SPAN is actually showing the full rally, the whole hour and 51 minutes.
Oh.
So, there are other ways of actually finding this. I like going to the RSBN. RSBN is the best place to actually go to do this. If you haven't shown support for RSBN, you can do so by going to rsbnetwork.com. I don't work for them. I'm just, whatever. It's
You
their
don't?
Stuff. No, I don't.
Oh.
I just like their stuff. I like their stuff better than anybody else's. So.
What incredible spirit. The rallies we have now are bigger than the rallies from before the election because people are so angry. They're so angry. The radical left Democrats put America last, and that's where they intend to keep you. They want to put us last. And nobody understands why. What the hell are they doing? Nobody really understands. It's like, do they love our country? Maybe they don't love our country. The only way you can do the things, they're not stupid. The only way you can do what they're doing is you have to hate our country.
Yes, it's purposeful.
Historians will record this period of American history as a catastrophic low point and a stain upon our once great reputation. It's stained, but we'll get rid of that stain. Never has our country been treated with such disrespect and scorn by other world leaders. They treat us like, they don't even talk to this guy. He calls them up. We haven't had a chance to call him back 2 weeks later. No, they don't even return his phone calls. I believe it started after the way in which we withdrew from Afghanistan, and when they looked at our borders, the way they were taking advantage of us on the borders was so bad. You know, they see it, millions and millions of people coming in. When they saw that, other countries, smart, they did things that nobody could believe that they were willing to do. And they saw the dead soldiers, they saw the wounded soldiers, they saw leaving American citizens. Right now they're called hostages. You have many citizens that the Taliban is holding. They didn't get enough with the $85 billion. Maybe we ought to go in and take it back. Dumbest thing I've ever seen. Finest military equipment in the world they have, from the goggles to the 700,000 machine guns, rifles, guns. You know, they're one of the largest arms sellers in the world now. They're selling much of the equipment because they can't use it. 70,000 trucks. Now, I don't know anything about the automobile business except that I saved it for your state, okay? But how many, take the biggest car salesperson and company in the country, they don't have 70,000 cars or trucks. 70,000 trucks. Many of them armor-plated, many of them worth millions and millions of dollars. And they have it now. And then they did us the great honor of having a parade 2 weeks after we left, using the word left very nicely, because I don't like the word surrendered, but we surrendered. And there was no reason to. They had such, they were fine, they were behaving. I said, nobody being shot. We were going to get out. We were there 21 years. I'm the one that got it down to 2,000 soldiers. But I was going to keep Bagram. You had to keep Bagram, a big Air Force base that's 1 hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons. Think about that. 1 hour away. We've never seen anything like this before. But we will come back, and we will come back strong. You watch. There could be no more vivid example than their anti-American energy agenda, inspired by the socialist joke known as the Green New Deal. We're all environmentalists. We want clean air. We want clean water. You know, it's pretty amazing, right? So China's very dirty. Very dirty. The air comes up, the fumes come up, everything comes up. It doesn't stay there. It floats to the United States. India. I love a lot of people in India, but it's very dirty. They have no pollution control. The air goes up, and the air floats over to the United States. Every one of these countries, Russia, take a look at the Arctic. They call it black ice. That's from dirty factories. And yet we're clean. Our air goes up and it's clean. So who the hell gets it? Nobody knows because it's clean. But what are we doing?
What? What in the world did he just say?
Science class with President Trump.
Oh, Lord. I mean,
doing, and we're increasing the.
I just don't even know what to say.
You look at these windmills that are all over the place, ruining farms, ruining land, ruining our landscape. And you remember I said it is very intermittent energy, intermittent. Remember when I used to say during the campaign, darling, darling, I'd love to watch the president. I love the president. I'd love to watch him tonight. in the debate, debating mostly the commentators, not Joe. Like Chris Wallace.
Loser.
I said, Joe, why did you and your family get $3.5 million from the wife of the mayor of Moscow? What did you do? And Chris Wallace said, you have no right to ask that question. How good was that question now, right? This week, Biden released a budget that proposes 11 new taxes on oil and gas production at a time of record high gas prices, which are making our enemies rich. These numbers at 150.
What's boo?
Oh, Chris
What?
Wallace, I would imagine. Right. Well, it's a
You
little
laughed
delayed on
about
YouTube.
it. But yeah, there's a slight delay. That's why I said, well, what's the boo for? Is the boo because what did he just say about the air going up and the Trump science stuff, or
The Trump science stuff. Someone has to make a meme of this now.
$50 a barrel. It's going much higher. It's going much, much higher. California now is over $8 a gallon for gasoline.
There you go. As I say earlier. Yep.
In addition, your crazy Democrat governor
There it is.
and your attorney general, who's vicious and doesn't have a clue, but she is indeed vicious, what she's trying to do to people. They're trying to shut down Michigan's line. You know this, right? Line 5. You know what line? Who knows what the hell line 5 is? Whoa. This is a very well-read crowd. But they're trying to shut down Line 5 pipeline that provides 55% of all propane gas in the state of Michigan. They want to close it. What the hell are they going to do when it's closed? It's crazy. If Joe Biden were serious about fighting inflation and helping the middle class, the first thing he would do is walk into the White House briefing room and announce that he is immediately and completely returning the pro-American energy policies of a president named Donald John Trump. It's very simple.
Very simple.
So simple. It's so simple. Gas prices would immediately plummet. We had them down. In fact, I was having a problem. I got them so low, I had to raise them a little bit. Our energy companies would have gone out of business. You remember that? And we bought a lot of it. We bought a lot of it for the strategic reserves, a lot of it at low prices. But we had it so low that I started worrying not about the consumer. I started worrying about, are the energy companies going to make it? But you know what? They produced, and they produced big, and we got it up a little bit, and the price of gasoline was at a record low, and your heating and all of the other things, your electric bills, they were going down numbers that you had never seen before. And then this really a catastrophic election took place, a disgraceful election. And all of a sudden, you are having the worst problems with energy, but energy is the least of it. You have everything. You know, we did a book, Our Journey Together. Did anybody buy that book? So it's a table book. It's a beautiful book. I think it did so well because people loved it, despite all of the hoaxes and all of the crap they pulled with Russia, 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 Ukraine, 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 the Mueller report, all of the crap they pulled, despite all of that. Impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2. Who the hell could take this kind of stuff? I thought it would be a lot of fun. It's not fun. But you know what? We produced for the American people, and we produced for our country better than just about any other president in history. So in that way, it was fun. Thank you. Thank you. You know, it's funny. Somebody said today, is it true that you gave up your salary? I didn't take salary. And I figured a lot of rich presidents didn't take it. You know what? I was the only one. They think that George Washington didn't. Now, they'll come out tomorrow, they'll say, oh, FDR or somebody. You know, they'll come up with something. But I thought, maybe FDR, maybe Kennedy, maybe, some that had money that they wouldn't take. It's $450,000, so I wouldn't take it. But if somebody stays in one of my rooms or hotel rooms for $500, $700 a night, it's like, oh, I'm dealing with the Arabs. I'm taking advantage. Now think of it. But I gave up the salary, nobody, but every month they would call, the sleaze back there, the press. They would call. They'd say this, did he give up his salary this month? And the answer is yes. Next month, did he give up his salary this month? The answer is yes. This went on for 4 years, right? And you know what was written? Nothing. But you know what? If they ever said, no, he didn't, it would be a front page headline. Really, these are really disgraceful things. We need our press back. We need a fair press. We need a fair press, and it would be so much easier to make America great again. It really would. It'd be so much easier to make our country great. We have a corrupt press, corrupt like never before. Nobody could believe it. I dealt with the press. I used to get great press before I ran for politics. I had great press. That's one of the reasons I guess I ran. I got such good press, I ran. But I had great press, and then all of a sudden I run, and we are of a conservative bent. It's not conservative. You know what it is? It's really a common sense bent. I don't say conservative. I say it's common sense. We got to have strong borders. We've got to have good education. We want low taxes. Biggest tax cut in history. We want low taxes. We want few regulations. Biggest regulation cut in history. We want a powerful military. We built the greatest military, $2.5 trillion. All of these things, we want great schools. We want great schools. And we want fair school boards, not crazy people. But from the border crisis to the energy crisis, from the Afghanistan disaster to the Ukraine disaster, all of this is a consequence of the rigged election. It's a consequence. If we didn't have that election, you would have no inflation. We had no inflation. We had better than no inflation. We had 1%. They want 1%. They don't want to have, they want like 1%. They even like 2%. I like 1% better. And if you're in the real estate business, you like inflation.
Is he talking about milk?
What?
What? 1%, 2% better?
Until everything crashes. What happens is you make it a fortune, then everything crashes. Then it goes fume. It goes up, and then it comes down. But eventually that happens. But we had the best because we had 1%. It was perfect. Our gas prices were under $2, and way under in some cases. Everything was good. We had more jobs ever. 160 million jobs. We had more jobs than we've ever had in our country in history. And that includes today, we're 7 million under. But we had more jobs. We did a job like nobody's ever done, and you would think they'd like it. You'd think they'd say, hey, this is all they had to do when they came in, despite the way they came in, is just go to the beach and relax. We had the border solved. We had the low taxes. We had the low regulations. Countries were coming into our country again. They were stopping bringing companies out of Michigan to move to other states and not other states, because frankly, I will say, I said, you want to move to another state, you can move, but you can't move to another country. You can't move to another country. And the truth is, I ran twice. We won twice, and we did much better the second time than we did the first. And now we may have to do it again. May have to do it again.
May have to do it again? Just do it, or don't. Don't sit there and him and haw, right? You gotta
Do
make a
or do
decision.
not. There is no try.
And just to cover it quickly, because I don't want to take a lot of time, but it's coming out, this Truth to Vote, where they found all the thousands and thousands of ballot harvesters. You've seen.
Well, that's an interesting little headline down below there. Indiana joins 23 states in adopting constitutional carry.
Oh,
it's gonna. It's spreading. It's spreading in a good way.
I mean, it should be that way, period, anyway,
right,
underneath the Constitution.
Right, it's Constitution. I mean, it should always just be that way. You shouldn't have to worry about what states want to do it and which ones don't. Because obviously if there's 23 states that are adopting it, or if Indiana joins the 23, that's 24. So then, it leaves 26 that aren't. Yeah. Get on with it. Stop with the constitutional. It's constitutional. Yeah. Well, because it's Indiana plus 23, so it's 24.
It is 24. I knew that.
In that truth to vote, when you see that, that's coming out in 2 weeks.
And
when you see those numbers, I think it's 4 or 5 million people cheating. Those numbers are coming out. Now, the press hates like hell to cover it. Oh, and they go crazy because they have a lot of live television. I'm talking about this. They don't know what to. They're saying, should we turn off the cameras? Who cares? But right here, just quickly, in Michigan, your corrupt state official sent out 7.7 million unsolicited mail-in ballot applications to everyone on the rolls, including people that were dead and those who no longer live in the state. Other than that, it was wonderful. How many people got more than one? Actually, you wouldn't have that many. No, the Democrats got a lot more than one. But even you have a lot more than one. Now it's crazy. When you hear mail-in ballot, you can guarantee you have a corrupt election. You mail it in and somebody is supposed to be at a house and they send it back, you're guaranteed to have a corrupt election. Your radical Secretary of State, Jocelyn Benson, ordered.
I mean, do you put a signed check in the mail? Like if they want you to put your ballot in. Like, do you just stick a signed check in an envelope and say, this is a signed check, and then put it in the mailbox? Like, someone's going to pull that out and be like, this is a signed check. Please do not. Oh, and they're going to open it up and then,
Right.
She ordered election clerks to assume that all signatures on mail-in ballots were valid, which was later found by the Michigan State Court to be flagrantly illegal. It was found. What happened? They didn't do anything. They didn't make any changes. Zuckerberg, he used to come kiss my ass at the White House. Sir, Mr. Zuckerberg is on the phone. He'd love to have dinner with you, sir. He flooded local Michigan election offices with nearly $17 million. In a great state, Nebraska, a congressman is being put in jail over a few dollars that he possibly didn't even know anything about. He's going to jail, a few $1,000s, and yet this guy gives $417 million to all these states. The money, it's passed around like pizza at a party, and nothing happens to him. They're putting this congressman, I don't know him well, but he's a congressman, and it was over a very small amount of money. They're going to put him in jail.
Wipe your mouth and then rub your eyes.
A number of thousands, like $20,000. And he said he didn't know about it. Now, who knows? Maybe he did, maybe 20,000. This guy did $417 million among the different states. You got millions and millions of dollars here, and the majority went to deep blue areas, and in particular the corrupt Democrat-run cities, including the TCF Center in Detroit. That's an honest place, where there was fraud and major irregularities. A lot of fraud, a lot of irregularities, but your Democrats didn't want to look, and you have a lot of rhino Republicans that didn't want to look too. I think in many ways the rhinos are worse than the Democrats, because at least you know where the Democrats are coming from. The rhinos are bad dudes. You know what rhino is? Republican in name only.
Look at this woman in the background there. Like, freaking, like, swinging her arms wider than a walrus clap. Like, just bang, bang, bang. Like there's symbols in her, on her palms, It's like.
Speaking of rhinos.
So let's get this straight. The Democrats commit massive and overwhelming voter fraud in the 2020 presidential election. And they want the Republicans to go to jail for investigating and protesting a very crooked election. Well, that sounds reasonable. The people that corrupted our election, they have no problem. The people that are looking for the truth and they're looking for the corruption, which has largely been found, they should go to jail. They should go to jail. That's what the Democrats are saying. Republicans must get tough and smart and not let them get away with the crime of the century any longer. As one critical step, we have to fire the radical Democrat officials who gave us this total calamity, starting with your socialist Secretary of State, Benson, and your lawless Attorney General, Dana Nessel. She's very terrible. She's terrible. We're joined tonight by two incredible candidates who are going to beat those extreme leftists this November. They're great people. These are great people. I know them well. First, I'm pleased to introduce your next Michigan
do you really know them?
Secretary of State. This is a wonderful woman with a beautiful mom and dad who I just met backstage. Christina Caramo. Christina, come up, Christina, is a mom. Come up, Christina. A college professor, a Christian, and a true American patriot. She is a fearless champion for election integrity. In November 2020, Christina spent days at the TCF Center in Detroit and was appalled by the cheating and the corruption that she witnessed. Christina bravely stepped forward and testified to the Michigan legislature, and I will tell you, she made such an impression. That's why everybody wants to vote for her right now. They love her.
Do you know this woman?
I said it's a Blix's woman.
A Blix's woman?
It's one of the Blixes.
Oh.
It's one of the Blixes, boys.
Oh. I get you. I get you.
But the leftist rhinos didn't care what she said. They didn't want any part. They say, Trump is winning big. He'll do it again. No. What happened in the past? Do it again. We won't have a country left. So now Christina is running for Secretary of State to clean up Michigan's election for good. And she's pledged to deliver citizenship confirmation, residency confirmation, little things like that, signature verification, the elimination of Zuckerberg drop box. I call them the unlock boxes, you know? They call them lock boxes. I call them unlock boxes. Ironclad chain of custody protections. And very importantly, she wants something very simple. It's called voter ID. Does that make sense?
Whoa, voter ID? I can't think of anything else that you'd need an ID to do. Oh, wait. That's the other way around. Absolutely everything that you do requires an ID. You want to pack cigarettes? You want to drive your car? You want to walk down the street? Almost anything you want to do requires an ID. But, you know, voting.
So Christina is running to defeat Jocelyn Benson, who is absolutely bad news for this state. She's so bad for this state. The diehard left-wing radical who has gutted your state's election integrity measures. Just weeks after the corrupt 2020 election, Benson ordered election clerks across the state to urgently delete all election files as soon as possible in order to prevent a full audit. Christina knows this. I just want to ask Christina, I know she spoke before, but I was trying to get here. You know, we had very bad weather, and they said, sir, I don't think you're going to be able to make it. I said, my ass, I won't be able to make it. No, it's true, Christina. I said, what are our chances of landing safely? They said at least 90%. I said, okay, let's. We had very bad weather, and there was no way I was going to miss it. And so I appreciate all the guys. That was a rough trip. I never knew an airplane could be so rough, Christina. But I'd just like to ask Christina, this is an incredible woman, respected by everybody. And if you could say a few words, we'd love it. Thank you.
President Trump, thank you for what you did for our country. You pulled the scale off of so many people's eyes of how there's a cabal of people in leadership bent on destroying our country. Thank you. Thank you. We actually had a person in our presidency who loved our country and who didn't do it to advance himself, but to actually fight back. Thank you. Because that's what we need in leadership. You know, what's interesting is according to the state of Michigan, I didn't vote in the 2020 election. And what's so interesting of all the lies told about me, that's the most infuriating thing. Like, why would I spend all that time at the TCF Center, knock doors for President Trump, and turn around and not vote? But then I FOIA'd my application to vote, proving that I voted in the 2020 election, even though according to the state of Michigan, I didn't vote. And there are so many people across the state where, according to the Secretary of State, they voted different than they actually did vote. But we're insurrectionists, we're traitors, big lie proponents for asking questions. But then our media protects corrupt politicians and demonizes citizens for speaking up. So I am so excited to be your next Secretary of State, to make sure that no matter who you vote for, what you believe, your vote counts and your vote isn't nullified by an illegal ballot. And I want to thank President Trump for all you've done for our country. You know what else, President Trump? You inspired so many people to run for office, to stand up and fight back, because he cannot do it by himself. It's an army of people across our state who are fighting back, little MAGA warriors, and we're getting the job done. Thank you.
I agree with you, Mitchell. I hope she actually gets the position that she's looking for. That was pretty strong. Yeah, wow. President Trump said the way he did. Wow. Yes, he is the ex-president. He is not our current president, and there's nothing we can do about that. Joe Biden is the most legitimate. Oh. Hello, welcome back, America Shirts. Maybe? Like he almost doxed himself.
I wanted to speak more. Come up and speak again. Now, look, Chris.
She could come back up and she could speak some more, because yeah, she was, pretty right on. Let's do it. America Shirts, are you with us? We can't hear you.
Christina, feel good about your vote because somebody voted for you. Okay? That's what happened. Many people all over the country, they go to vote. Republicans like to vote on Election Day. Another thing, we should go back to Election Day, not where ballots are.
Exactly. Election Day is called Election Day for a reason. It all happens in one day. It seems as though America Shirts is having some issues. Let's hope that eventually he can make it back in here. So, let's see, Mitchell says, so she mailed in a ballot to prove, we can't, according to what she said, if we don't know this, we can't speculate on that, because, if we do, Susan might actually think that we're actually, saying something wrong, and she might flag us for it. We're not. We have no clue what actually happened. This is just her words. So
are sitting
I'm with you on
in
that
a
one.
storage room, safely supported by who is supporting them, right, where they throw our vote watchers out of, you saw that in Philadelphia, in Detroit. But the good news for Christina is that her vote counted. Unfortunately, it counted for the person that she would have never wanted to see in office because somebody else voted for it. That happened all over. People would come in to Philadelphia, Detroit, a lot of different places. They're so proud. They're so proud. I'd like to vote. I'm sorry, ma'am, but you voted before. No. This is such a big thing. Because whatever it is, Republicans want to vote on Election Day. No, I didn't vote. I have not voted. I love our president. I want to vote. I'm sorry, ma'am. You voted. This happened thousands and thousands of times. Some people were angry beyond belief.
Let's see if he actually makes it back this time. Welcome back, America. Sure.
Does this work? Oh, it does.
Hell yeah.
I was trying to join via my cell phone.
I noticed you almost doxed yourself there for a second.
I did?
Yeah, your camera was on.
Oh, well, yeah, well, I turned that off. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you okay? You back?
I'm apparently too based for my own internet provider.
Nice. It's awesome. I love it.
Some people started to cry. Some people just left. They said, this is the system. It's a corrupt system. We're like a third world country, and we're going to stop it. And Christina and Matt are going to lead that effort. So, thank you.
Did you miss Christina coming up and saying what she had said?
Oh, yes, I missed everything until just now.
Oh, okay. So this
I can watch it again later, I guess.
No, that's fine. So this Christina comes up here. She was pretty good. She's, let's see, we're at 50 minutes and 28 seconds. We'll go back and we'll listen to Christina real quick here. We don't need Trump's introduction.
Vote in the 2020 election. And what's so interesting of all the lies told about me, that's the most infuriating thing. Like, why would I spend all that time at the TCF Center, knock doors for President Trump, and turn around and not vote? But then I FOIA'd my application to vote, proving that I voted in the 2020 election, even though, according to the state of Michigan, I didn't vote. And there are so many people across the state where, according to the Secretary of State, they voted different than they actually did vote. But we're insurrectionists, we're traitors, big lie proponents for asking questions. But then our media protects corrupt politicians and demonizes citizens for speaking up. So I am so excited to be your next Secretary of State, to make sure that no matter who you vote for, what you believe, your vote counts and your vote isn't nullified by an illegal ballot.
So, this is what rigged Mitchell's question. If you, did that refresh for you? You don't see it all?
Oh, no, I don't see his...
so he asked the question. He says, so she mailed in a ballot to prove it was RIGGED? And,
No, she FOIA. Freedom of Information to see where her ballot actually went.
So, obviously she did something and she's willing to continue to do something. Hopefully this lady actually makes it to the position that she's aiming for. So this was 50 minutes.
And by the way, she's a pretty big woman. She's fairly tall. And I mean big as in overall big. She stands, Trump is what is he, 6'2" or something like that? She's right at his height. She's pretty tall.
Yeah, she's a big woman.
Either that or she's got really high heels that nobody else can see.
President, anyway. I want to vote. I'm sorry, ma'am. You voted. This happened thousands and thousands of times. Some people were angry beyond belief. Some people started to cry. Some people just left. They said, this is the system. It's a corrupt system. We're like a third world country, and we're going to stop it.
That's an actual reason to... Nice little reason to, but no. As soon as you hear somebody talk about like, oh yeah, they just broke down, like, oh yeah, it's probably a libtard.
And Christina and Matt are going to lead that effort. So thank you. Great job, and your parents are beautiful. Where are your parents? Where are they? Boy, oh boy, look at her mother and her father. They are beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much. You've done a very good job,
really basic
and you're
candidate.
proud. You're proud of Christina. Thank you, Doe. Thank you. In addition, I need everyone to support. It's so important. These two positions, so important. And this is not just the election for it. This is crime in your state, crime in your cities. This is a lot of different things. But you have to support Michigan's next Attorney General, a great and powerful lawyer, a tough cookie, which is what you need. Somebody said, well, he's very tough. That's what you need. Who is putting his life and reputation on the line, Matt DePerno.
I've heard this name before. I think.
Matt is a lifelong Michigander who has practiced law for 25 years and a conservative warrior who will never fail the people of this state. In fact, you know, when I first met Matt, he was hated. When I first met Matt, he was a lawyer up here who was hated by a lot of these weak politicians, the weak ones, the rhinos. Others loved him because he got the job done. But he did numbers on them that were unbelievable in the courts, and he really held them accountable. He's a highly competitive person. After the 2020 election, Matt led the explosive investigation to what happened in Antrim County, where, among other irregularities, votes were switched by mistake and had to be corrected. You know, we caught them, right? A lot of votes, too. Oh, they said, it was just a mistake. Oh, okay, good, it was a mistake. The machines made a little mistake. Thank you very much for acknowledging after they get caught. Gee, that was a mistake. After people pointed out that it was impossible that Trump had lost. These are areas where we had vast majorities and we lost. So when they went in, they found out that the vote was correct, except then they found out that it was a big mistake. And they apologized. Hell of a lot of good that did us. As your Attorney General, Matt will defend your Second Amendment.
Oh, okay.
He will crack down on violent crime, and he will ensure free, fair, and honest elections.
Yeah, thanks. Have a good night.
But before he can defeat soft on crime, and she's soft on crime, she's only strong on Republicans, Dana Nessel this fall, Matt, who is a true warrior, and I mean this, he's a tough cookie. We need a tough cookie. He must first defeat a guy who really had a chance to do the job. He's a rhino named Tom Leonard. I don't know him.
He just said cookie like Cookie Monster.
Give me cookie.
Eat a tough cookie. Oh my god. I freaking love him so much. Oh my god. He's so fun.
And why people think it's just he's so mean and he's so bad, and it's like he's funny, and come on.
Here, horrible things. He had a chance. Leonard is weak on election integrity, and he had his chance to correct it. He had a great opportunity to correct it, but he didn't have the guts to do so. That's not what we want. He's a rhino. He's not going to do a damn thing. Matt, say a few words. We love this guy. Thank you.
Yes, I know this guy. I know him.
Yeah? What do you know of? What do you know of?
Extremely based.
Apparently he was a lawyer, so I mean, you know.
Well, he was involved in trying to maybe push back against some election fortifications of sorts. Very much so in Antrim County and other places in Michigan. So, very based individual.
I was just looking him up before he had come out here just so I could see what he actually was about, and that's exactly what he is. He's the guy from Antrim County.
Great picks by Trump this time around. Very, very happy to see these picks.
More well thought out.
Yes.
And researched. Well done.
Yes, very much so. The woman, again,
Thank you.
Woman that was just over there, she's
fire. Thank you, President Trump. You are inspiration and a great leader. And I say this, the greatest president in the history of this country.
There you go.
And I tell you this is what the MAGA movement is about. Remember in January 2017, when Donald Trump was inaugurated, he stood on those steps in Washington, D.C. And remember that picture with those two people sitting over his left shoulder, George W. Bush and Barack Obama. I remember that picture vividly because
that crowd is just crazy.
Oh, they all are at these rallies. Oh, my God.
Right.
Of course, you know this, but, yeah.
President Trump said to every one of us, he said, today, I give the country back to the people.
Yeah.
And that is what we mean when we say America First candidates and Michigan First candidates. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're going to do in November. We are going to beat these Democrats. No longer will we allow the elites in this country to control our elections and to control us. In the spring
Allegedly,
of 2020,
of course,
Governor Whitmer shut down.
Yeah, of course. I mean, these are his words and his words alone. They're not our words. We're not saying this. It's just what he's saying, and we're just, listening to what he has to say. And it's very interesting that he has chose the words that he has. Because, we all know that Joe Biden is the most legitimate president ever.
Mostest of the most.
Catch that, Susan? The most legitimate president ever is Joe Biden.
Single most. Ever.
In our state.
Ever.
And some of us stood up and fought against it. Never submit to tyranny.
Oh, I love this guy.
When I am elected as Attorney General, we will change this in this state. We will restore this state back to what it once was, a constitutional republic. I will return the office back to the law firm for the people, where I will represent every one of you. But it starts at the convention coming up. Every one of you delegates need to get to your county conventions. Donald Trump is still the leader of this party.
For now, yes, he is.
What's that?
I said for now, yes, he is. He is the leader of the Republican Party. The Republican Party has no other leader at this point.
Right. There's nobody else that's really seems to be stepping up or
like I said,
to step
unless
up.
Mike Flynn at some point was to do something, which I don't think he will, but if he did, I would jump on it like freaking, I don't know, wetness on water.
You like Flynn that much, huh?
I do.
White on rice.
There you go, white on rice. Whatever. You know what?
And Donald Trump has come here today and said to every one of you delegates, support Matt DiPerno, support Christine.
I mean, I suppose I'm sorry to the brown rice.
Ramo. So let me hear it from you right now. Are you going to do that? This right here is the continuation of the MAGA movement, and we have President Donald Trump to thank for that. The 45th President of the United States, and I dare say, I hope the 47th. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Great job. And he is really tough. And
that was quite the chant that they had going there. Trump, 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 Trump. Apparently the people like him.
it's just what you need. He is a killer. We need a killer. And he's a killer in honesty. He's an honest, hardworking guy who is feared up here. I just said, I have to meet this guy. Who the hell is he? I'm the one that said, why don't you run? I'm telling you, Matt, you're going to win. And you and Christina have just taken it by storm. Everyone loves you both. And you're going to get to the bottom of everything, and you're going to stop crime, just basic crime in this state. You look at what's happening in Detroit and other parts of your state. It's a disgrace. He'll be there, and Christina will be there. These critical nominations for Secretary of State and Attorney General will take place at the state convention on April 23rd, but the delegates for the state convention will be chosen at your county conventions on April 11th. So you have the conventions on April 11th for the county. We have some of those great delegates, candidates, and others here tonight. I'm going to introduce a few people that have been just outstanding. I love them. They know what went on. They cannot believe what went on. They did so well. We did so well. We did much better than we did the first time. We did much, much better. You know, the most angry person anywhere in this country is Hillary Clinton, because she said, why the hell didn't you do that for me?
This joke is always the best.
Why didn't you do it for me? Well, you know, because they knew better. Supposedly. And you'd think that they would have known better, but, you know, they still went along with Joe Biden. I mean...
Well, you know, they did put her up for it anyway. I mean, you know, they did do that. They did want her, but at the same time, I mean, the first time that Trump ran and he won that significantly the first time, right? It's like, oh, didn't expect that. So they had to up the fortifications. If you know what I'm saying. Anyway.
What's this young man's shirt say? It says Blink. Is it a Trump shirt? It looks like a Trump shirt.
I'll say no.
Blink.
It sort of looks like it.
Blink if you love Trump. Huh.
She's angry at the Democrats. She wants to know why they didn't do it for her. Well, she's saying, you know, you found all these votes. Why the hell couldn't you have found 10,000 votes for me, she said. She's a very angry person. At the county convention, be sure to ask every candidate running, and you have to do this for state convention, if they will support the Trump ticket. We have an incredible ticket of people. And if they won't give you that assurance, don't give them your vote. And remember, this is not just about 2022. This is about making sure Michigan is not rigged and stolen again in 2024. Remember that.
Allegedly.
So whatever you do, make sure you send a slate of delegates to support Christina Caramo and Matt DePerno. They're outstanding people. They are unbelievable people. I don't do this. I have to be honest. I don't do this often. I don't do
I don't do this often. Just every time that I talk.
this often for state people. This is so important. What happened in Michigan is a disgrace. It's a disgrace.
Oh, he ought to do it for every state.
If you do, they will protect us from a corrupt election.
And do the same.
So we're
same
also
people like
joined
this.
by members of Congress, great people, real fighters for
I'd
Trump.
love to see anybody else in Minnesota. That'd be great.
John, where's John? John, thank you very much. Great job, Warrior. Thank you. Thank you. Say hello to everybody. We have a lot of good friends. And somebody that got a big round of applause, I hear, Lisa McLean. Lisa. Thank you. Thank you. Great job. Great job. Lisa, thank you. Warriors. And a great new candidate for Congress who was a brilliant student at Stanford and Harvard. He went to Stanford. He went to Harvard. He's a brilliant guy. He was a great student. John Gibbs, who, by the way, is running against one of the 10 impeachers. A guy who spells his name M-E-I-J-E-R, but they pronounce it Meyer. The hell kind of a spelling is that? Meyer. Meisher. It's Meisher, but it's actually pronounced Meyer. I said, how the hell do you pronounce this guy's name?
We're so blessed once again to have a few minutes with President Trump before he takes the stage here in Michigan. Now,
What's his name? Is it Meisher? Meisher? They said it's Meyer. How the hell do you get Meyer out of it? But I'd like to ask John Gibbs to come up. This Meyer thought he was going to get some free publicity. Hopefully, that fake vote will cost him the election. John Gibbs, a brave man, a great man, a brilliant student. Come on up.
Oh no, it's another Blixes.
First of all, thank you, President Trump. Thank you for the model you provide for every decent American to stop being afraid for a change. Aren't you guys tired of people being scared of being called names, being scared of being canceled, being scared of their own shadow? But President Trump has shown us a model for all the regular, decent people all around the country can finally stand up and stop being afraid and do what's right.
So the only thing that's catching my eye on this guy, whatever, is his suit. He's wearing Trump's suit. A slightly shorter version, but yes.
The shorter version.
Do you think all these mama bears, these wonderful and amazing mama bears at the school board meetings, we wouldn't be doing that without President Trump's leadership and model he provided for how to stand up against a corrupt system. So let's keep doing that, and let's not be too nice like we always have been. Let's start being a little bit tougher. Let's start being a little bit more ferocious. Let's have some sharp teeth when we go, arr. Isn't that what we learned?
Sharp teeth when
Yes. Yes. You can always tell a good man by his sound effects.
I don't want to go back too far.
Mama bears, these wonderful and amazing mama bears at the school board meetings, we wouldn't be doing that without President Trump's leadership and model he provided for how to stand up against a corrupt system. So let's keep doing that, and let's not be too nice like we always have been. Let's start being a little bit tougher. Let's start being a little bit more ferocious. Let's have some sharp teeth when we go, arr. Isn't that what we learned from President Trump? That is what we've learned. I'm running against one of the biggest rhinos in Congress who voted to impeach President Trump, the greatest president, as his first vote as a congressman. He's got to go. He's got to get out of there. So let's get out in November. Let's support the Trump candidates and support me, especially running in the Grand Rapids area, West Michigan, 3rd District. Let's go. Let's get Peter Meyer out of there. Let's support President Trump's agenda in Congress.
Nice.
Vote John Gibbs. Thank you. And thank you, President Trump.
I mean, I can't. That's not how I spell Meyer. It's Meyer. With the first name's Oscar.
It's just
that's the only Meyer that I know.
Oh my God.
Thank you, John. Just a second on John. So he was considered by Ben Carson, a fantastic guy, to be, Ben ran HUD, and John was a missionary for a long while, very religious person, and then he went to work with other people and did unbelievably well, and Ben Carson asked him to come into HUD. And Ben was the first person that told me about John and said Ben would love to see this happen. He said he's one of the smartest people he's ever dealt with, and that's a good recommendation because Ben is just an outstanding person. So thank you, John.
Yeah, you sound like it.
John is special. Thank you, John. Also with us are state representatives Matt Maddox. Has anyone ever heard of Matt? And a really good guy. They changed districts on him.
Matt Maddox? Have we heard of this guy?
That's a Michigan state congressman.
Because I would have supported him for one thing, but we're going to support him for state rep, and he's done a fantastic job. Steve Cara. Steve? Where is Steve? Steve Cara. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve. Great job. Great job. They changed the district so many times, nobody knew what the hell was happening. Now we have a candidate for governor who's very popular, who's a fantastic, brilliant candidate, Tudor Dixon. Tudor? Thank you, Tudor. Thank you. I heard you're doing well, too. And we have some state house candidates, and I like to introduce these people because it's very important. It all starts here. Mick Bricker, Jackie Eubanks, Mike Hoadley, Kevin Rathbun, Angela Rigas, Jonathan Roca, Rachel Smith. Thank you all. And you're all leading they're all endorsed by me, every one of them, and you're all leading very substantially, I hear. And you're going to give those few names to our friends, right? I had a couple of other recommendations, and I'll listen to them. And state Senate candidates, Mike Detmer, Jonathan Lindsay. They all have my complete and total endorsement. Congratulations. Go get them. You're leading big. You're leading big. They're all leading big. We were in Texas a few weeks ago, 33-0. We have a good record on endorsements. The press hates to talk about it. Thank you and I love you too. Thank you, darling. Very good. Stand up. I want to see who loves me.
Oh, Tudor Dixon is a woman, by
the way. Yeah.
Now, I had a woman say it, and I just see her, and she's great. Thank you very much. And there was a guy that said it, and I love him. It's not my thing, but I love him too. I love him too. Thank you very much. Thank you. Is there anything better than a Trump rally? Seriously, is there anything better? What would we be doing?
Yeah, I was looking up that Tudor Dixon as well, because I'm like, who's this? It looks like she's running for governor. It's good. I'm glad that she's running for governor. I hope she actually gets what she's looking for. What's that?
I said, or what the state is looking for.
Right.
People in the state of
Michigan. Right now would be sitting home, watching television, eating, calling people bored, and here we are having a good time trying to save our country, right? It's true. We're saving our country. We're going to save it. Start right here in Michigan. You ever see Biden when he says, it's great to be with the people of Ohio? No, you're in Michigan. No. Or he's in Florida, and he says, it's great to be with the people of Iowa. No. There are palm trees out there. They don't have palm trees. Then he says, this is a beautiful Sunday afternoon to be with. No, this is Saturday. If I ever made a mistake like that, they'd say he should get out of office immediately. But Biden used to make it all the time. He still does, actually. They corrupt. How about he makes a press conference and they always have like 4 corrections? No, he didn't mean that. He didn't mean what he said. He didn't mean any of it. Actually, it's very insulting, though. You know, you're the president, and all these people that half of them didn't have a job a year and a half ago, and they're correcting everything he says. Actually, it'd be better off if they just left it. It would probably be better off. Let the mistakes stand. For years, corrupt politicians shut down your factories, shipped away your jobs, and sold off your industries to the other side of the world. Wonderful place, the other side. We lost 32% of your automobile manufacturing business before I came into office. Think of it, 32, 34%, and I predicted it would only get worse. And then I was named, a long time ago, did you know this? A long time, I don't know, your Chamber of Commerce, somebody, who the hell knows what it is. They named me the Man of the Year in Michigan. And I got up and I said, they're stealing your car business. And I was really rebuked. They said, that wasn't a very nice thing to say. I said, but it's the truth, and I was right. That was a long time ago, Man of the Year in Michigan. We've been doing this stuff a long time, actually. But with the help of everyone here today, over 4 incredible years, we saved American manufacturing, and we did it.
Yeah, he was considered Man of the Year in Michigan?
Well, I mean, he has been doing things about, like, talking about, manufacturing leaving the United States and these sorts of things for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Quite a long time. And, of course, most people know that by now, I would imagine.
Business Insider's Trump claimed again that he won an award which doesn't exist. I'm going to look into it a little deeper.
For the state of Michigan, probably as much or more than any other state, because we saved your automobile business, we saved the steel business. We taxed China, we put tariffs and taxes on China like nobody ever thought possible. My first week in office, I withdrew from the terrible Trans-Pacific Partnership, which would have been the death blow, a death knell for the U.S. auto industry. Auto people called me, they said, please don't let that happen, sir. And I immediately killed it. I renegotiated Obama's horrendous Korea trade deal, a disaster, made it a very good deal, and saved our auto workers from unfair foreign competition. I ended the horrible, probably the worst trade deal ever made by any country, NAFTA disaster, and replaced it with the brand new USMCA, Mexico and Canada, creating hundreds of thousands of jobs for American auto workers and workers. And you know, now they're trying to renegotiate the deal. Mexico and Canada want to renegotiate the deal because it's no good for them, which makes me feel good, frankly. And they shouldn't do it. He says, get rid of Trudeau. No, he treated us very nicely because he signed the deal. I didn't think I'd get them to sign it. But it's gone from the worst deal made to the best deal made. And everyone said that couldn't be done. You know, we had to get it through Congress. Everyone said it couldn't be done. And Mexico and Canada have a lot of juice in Congress. I hate to tell you that. But we got it done, and it's a great deal, and I hope Biden doesn't renegotiate that like he's doing with the Iran nuclear deal, which is a disaster. I stood up for China's abuses like no president in history, charging China. We charged China hundreds of billions of dollars in taxes and tariffs, which saved our steel, and it saved our auto industry, among others. And no president has ever charged China not 10 cents. Not 10 cents. They never got charged. They were killing us. We had a deficit with China of $507 billion with a B. Nobody knows what that even means. It's so big. And in my opinion, not sustainable. And I was all set to bring it down to even. And then we had some bad news. Some strange votes came in late at night, 3 o'clock in the morning. A lot of strange things happened. I also authorized millions of dollars to save and rebuild Michigan's vital Sulaks, and got you hundreds of millions of dollars for Great Lakes Restoration Initiative, which is a big deal, hundreds of millions. They've been trying to get that money for many years. The Democrats wouldn't give it. I got it. And they're doing great work, too, I understand, including on the locks. Those locks were falling apart. Those locks were not locks. But now Biden and the radical Democrats have put at risk everything that we fought to build in this country. Biden's inflation calamity will cost the average family an estimated $5,200 this year, a giant tax on the American workers. That's bigger than any tax increase that you could have, and they want to raise your taxes. Real wages are falling, and we are teetering on the edge of an economic nightmare known as stagflation. Does anybody know stagflation? You don't want to know? That's simultaneous inflation and recession. How's that sound? Good? It's not good. And this week, Biden released a budget with plans to turbocharge this disaster with record high spending, the largest tax increase in history, and a business tax hike that will export millions of jobs back to China and other foreign countries and guarantee that companies will leave the United States in record numbers to go elsewhere. You know, they were all coming back under me. I gave them tremendous incentives to come back. I also gave them, they had trillions of dollars, $6 trillion outside the United States. They couldn't get it back in because of regulation and because of the ridiculous tax. And I got it back in. They came back in, and we simplified the regulations, and we lowered the tax, and they brought the money back in. And they spent the money building in the United States. These are the things we did. These are just a small portion of the things we did. Even Right to Try, we'll go into a different subject, Right to Try, where people that were terminally ill would travel the world if they had money. If they didn't have money, they'd literally go home and die. They'd go home and die. We have the greatest scientists in the world, we have the greatest labs in the world, and we have medicines but they won't be approved for 5 years. I took it down from 12 years down to 5, and I was going to get it a lot lower than that. But they had to wait for years to get it approved by the FDA, the good old FDA. And what happened is Right to Try. I got it. If somebody was terminally ill or very ill, and they could prove that, they got the right to use this brand new, beautiful medicine that won't be approved for another period of time. And thousands of lives are being saved all over the country. Just another thing that we did. Another thing that we did. Thousands of lives have been saved. And everyone said we couldn't do it. Had to get that one through Congress. You know, it sounds simple. They've been trying to do it for 44 years. They couldn't get it done. They said the country will have liability. I said, that's okay. They'll sign a document saying we're not going to hold the country liable. The company will have liability. That's okay. We'll sign that the company won't have any liability. They say the pharmaceuticals companies don't want because if people are terminally ill, that means they're very far down the line, and they don't want it on their record. They want to show that this product works. I said, that's okay. We'll have a separate list so that it won't affect them. They said, well, that's very good. That's all very good. And we got it done. Thousands and thousands of lives are being saved. But with respect to our country, do not lose hope, because with the right leadership, America will be back greater, stronger, and more powerful than ever before. One of the first things we will do when Republicans retake Congress, and it could be big, let's not talk about it. It could be big. I heard today 68 seats, but I don't want to say that because if it's 67, they'll say Trump suffered a humiliating defeat. Now I heard numbers from 20 to 68. 68 so far, the highest. Every week it seems to get higher. All of these Democrat Congress people are retiring because they're getting their asses kicked in every poll because they're so incompetent. But we're going to retake Congress, bring Joe Biden and crazy Nancy Pelosi's socialist spending spree to a screeching halt. Our country can't take it any longer. Another top priority for Republican majorities will be to pass a bill immediately terminating every single COVID mandate. And nobody suffered like Michigan.
Susan, it's not our statement. We don't have anything to do with it. It's what he said. Please leave me alone. I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling anybody to do anything. They should actually go see a doctor and do what's best for themselves.
Nobody suffered stronger than what she did to Michigan. I don't even think New York suffered like that. Gee, everybody but her husband had to stay. He could go ice skating. He could do whatever the hell he... Who is the husband? Man, that guy had a hell of a life while you were locked inside your homes. You weren't allowed to go out and cut your grass. You couldn't paint the outside of your house. You're not going to get COVID by painting your house. But this guy was allowed to go cruising on the lakes. I want to see what this guy looks like. He must be a handsome son of a bitch to get away with it. No one ever mentions that despite crushing our citizens with mandates and restrictions, Biden presided over more COVID deaths in 2021 than we had in all of 2020. Think of that. With all of the things that we did and all of the therapeutics, all of the great things we did, more deaths. Biden and your Governor Gretchen Whitmer imposed rules on you that they did not abide by themselves. In fact, if you take a look around and look at her friendships and look at her people, not only her husband, they took advantage of her and they took advantage of you. They totally failed on the pandemic, and now they are trying to walk away from COVID like nothing happened. But Americans will remember the Democrats' COVID tyranny this November. They're already sucking. I hear they said there's another strain coming in. We're going to have to lock everybody up. Everybody gets locked up. They like that. Gives them power. Gives them power. We will never forget what they did to our children and to your children. We will never forget. You look difference with Republican-run states. Take a look at the difference, like day and night. And that includes also crime. It's like day and night. The crime in Democrat-run cities and states, nobody's ever seen anything like it. I was given great praise for all we did on Operation Warp Speed. We did a great job with regard to therapeutics and everything else, so much else, from making ventilators and making masks and making everything. In addition, a Republican Congress must stand up for parental rights. It's about time, right? Parental rights. Parental rights. As president, I was proud to issue the world's first ban on critical race theory. Joe Biden rescinded that order immediately. But when we retake Congress, Republicans must ban critical race theory in our schools, ban it in our military, and ban it in every part of our federal, state, and local governments. Furthermore, America's moms and dads must be given a veto over anyone teaching far-left gender theories to their children in school without parental consent. It's unbelievable. This week, the Biden administration released guidance endorsing hormone therapy, puberty blockers, and sex-changing surgeries for children and minor youth. Can you imagine a child? And then they grow up and they said, why the hell did you do that to me, Mom or Dad or government or government? Biden's Department of Justice has also announced they will punish medical doctors who refuse to perform irreversible and highly controversial transgender procedures. I can't even believe it. Who the hell would have ever believed we'd even be talking about this stuff, right? Who would believe it? With their extremist sex and gender ideology, the Democrat Party is waging war on reality, war on science, war on children, war on women. The Republican Party is now the party of American women and American children, and we will protect women in sports. Women in sports. And not allow men to enter into the women's game. You know, I say it all the time. Those people, their seat is not as good as yours, but they're all famous. And some will go to Hollywood someday. There's a producer out there watching.
It's so
and you have plenty of conservative producers in it, they just don't like to talk about it. Who'd you vote for? Well, I didn't vote for Trump. Then they get in there. I'm going to vote for Trump.
I mean, he's telling the truth, really, because we pointed out this guy and this person and this kid's shirt. You know, so I mean,
he knows. I mean, like, this is not made up yet.
Trump. I like paying low taxes. I like having good military, good education, low regulation. Then they come out, who'd you vote for? I'd rather not say. Anybody that would rather not say, that means they voted for Trump. There were a lot of them. That's why they thought I lost the election. Remember 2016? And we had one person that called it right, but they came out, and they never had anything like this. Who did you vote for? Screw you. Oh. Who did you vote for? I don't want to tell you. It's none of your damn business. Who did you? They never had it. It was like 50% of the people said that. And then some would say crooked Hillary Clinton and some would say Trump, right? This was on the 16 election where we didn't do nearly as well as the 20, but these are minor details. But they'd say Clinton. And so I got a call at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I thought we did so well.
This is just
Sir,
minor
I have
details.
some pretty bad news. It's looking really bad. A lot of people are saying the exit vote, you know, it's an exit vote, where these sleazebags back there, they ask the people, they say, who did you vote for? And everybody said that she was going to lead, and she was leading big. But one person then called, and it was sad. I actually went to our great First Lady, who everybody loves our First Lady. They love our First Lady. She was a great First Lady. Elegant woman, and she loves you. But I went to our First Lady. I said, darling, you know, the athletes say I left it all in the field. I did. I came back from Michigan, by the way. I think Grand Rapids, right? Grand Rapids. I arrived at 4 o'clock in the morning. We had a great time, and the place was packed. We had 34,000 people standing outside of that amphitheater type place. But I went to the First Lady. I said, it looks bad, looks really bad. But I don't feel bad because I left it all out in the field. I was doing 5 and 6 major rallies a day for a week. Who the hell could do that? Who could do that? Nobody could do that. Nobody could do that.
Well, he doesn't have to put on an act or a show or a pre-prep.
Biden couldn't do that. Biden couldn't do that.
He's just having fun.
Right? That's all he ever wants to do.
He couldn't do one. Couldn't do a half. Couldn't do a sentence.
I'm under pressure.
And if I would have made one mistake, if there was one mispronunciation of a complex word, they would have said, Trump is losing it. With Biden, they say, oh, It's okay.
Better than FDR.
But it's true. I did 5.
More
I did one day where I
eloquent
did 6. These are
FDR.
big rallies, too. These are with 30, 40, 50,000 people. I go into one. I go into another. We landed. We got a good system. We'd land that beautiful plane, and we'd just get off the plane, do a rally at the airport. I didn't have to travel. But we did a lot. And it was looking good. It was feeling good. The spirit was unbelievable. And then I got this call, sir, it's not looking good. I'm telling you, sir, it's just not. He wanted to be nice. This person they call good person, he wanted to, I said, give it to me. It's not looking good, sir. I said, why? Because the exit voting is looking really bad. And they started going on television, and these geniuses on television, right? These people that are so bad. Sleepy Eyes, Chuck Todd, the whole group. And they were saying, it's looking bad for Trump. At that time, it wasn't president. It's looking bad for Trump. This is going to be a long night for Trump, meaning long night in a bad way. This is going to be over very quickly. And then about 45 minutes later, I got a call from a real political expert. And he said, you're doing great in Michigan. You're doing great in Pennsylvania. You're doing unbelievable in North Carolina. You're going to win Florida big. We did it a second time. I think they spent $300 million against me in Florida. I never saw so many negative ads, right? And I spent about $3.50, and we crushed them. That's because the election was honest. We crushed them here, too. I hate to tell you, we crushed them here. We crushed them here, too. And where is Michon? Is she here? Where's Michon? Where is you? Stand up. We crushed them. Michon Maddox, who's in charge of a lot of different things, and a good person with her husband who's going to be the boss very soon. Congratulations. Thank you for everything. But we crushed him. But anyway, so they came out and they said, sir, it's looking bad. This one guy called up, he said, no, there's never been a time where so many people didn't respond or responded with the F word to these people because they hated them. The passion and the hatred of the media. So they'd use terrible language in some cases, and in some cases they just said, I don't want to say. And he said, we consider almost all of those people as Trump voters. You're gonna win big. And we won big. He was right. So I went to the First Lady. I said, I don't think we're going to make it, darling, but you know what? I left it on the field, and I felt okay. I was okay. If you don't make it and it's fair and square, that's acceptable. That's okay. But if you win in a landslide and they steal it and rig it, it's no good. It's not acceptable. It's no good. Be a lot easier for me to say, be a lot easier for me to do like many people have done, get up and just say, congratulations, whoever it is I'm running against. I mean, if you're running, I'd say, congratulations, Joe. Now watch, if I say it, I don't want to say it because they'll put it on like, this is what they do. Remember the Russia, if you're listening thing? So they cut it off immediately because it was a joke. Russia, if you're listening, you do this or that with her emails or whatever the hell it was. And then I laughed, they laughed, the whole place was left, but they cut it off immediately. It said, Russia, if you're listening, cut. They can do more with that tape than they can do with the pen writing their fake stories, really. So this guy calls up and he said, you know what? I think you're going to win. You're going to win Florida, definitely. You're going to win North Carolina. You're going to win Pennsylvania. You're going to win Michigan, we think. And so I went back to the First Lady. I said, forget what I told you an hour ago. It's looking slightly better. No, this guy's attitude was anybody that says we're not going to tell you, he considered that a vote. So that was different because the other people, they don't consider it. He did. He said, you know what? I think that's a vote for Trump. And he said, you're going to win. So I was quite happy. And then in the evening, we did win, and we won big. We won big. And we won big in Michigan. We won big in your state. And I think we did a hell of a job. We saved your auto industry. We saved your steel industry. We saved a lot of things. In addition, we should have zero tolerance for woke CEOs who get rich off the world's worst human rights abuses abroad while they push radical politics into our classrooms, here and at home. Yep. Giant corporations that do business in communist China while they attack our values here in America, should face a massive, crushing tax on all profits coming out of China. And I was getting ready to do that. They should lose all tax breaks and all preferential treatment under U.S. law. The American people will not sit idly by and allow our children to be indoctrinated, segregated, and mutilated by the lunatic left. Not going to stand for it. Not going to stand for it. Another key step for a Republican Congress will be to restore free speech in America. You know, they say that in Russia, the people in Russia don't even know they're having a war because they have a rigged press. We have the same rigged press. Maybe not quite as severe, but it'll be there in the not too distant future. Both the New York Times and the Washington Post have now finally admitted that Hunter Biden's laptop, the laptop from hell, is real. Which I think I came up with that name. Didn't I come up with that name first? I think so. I never get credit for fake news. I never get credit for the laptop from hell. I never get credit for Crooked Hillary. We had so many great names. I won't go into the Republican names because I like them all now. But he goes, we don't want to do that. I'm actually getting along with them very well. I'd rather not do that. But we came up with some pretty good names. But this is the laptop from hell. And pollsters say that we would have brought an additional 17 points to our already record-setting election. You know, I won more votes than any sitting president in history by many millions. We were told that if you got the same thing as last time, 63 by John McLaughlin, great pollster, Towery, great pollster. Sir, if you get 63 million again, you win in a landslide. We got almost 75 million votes, so we didn't win. Something wrong there. You ever see the bookies in Vegas? They're smart. Vegas bookies and London bookies. It's like starting at around 50-50, and then 60-40, then it's 70-30, going up, 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 up. It's going, then we're almost at 100%. And they called off the bets. It was over. And then they say, wait a minute, something's going on over here. And some of them, many of them, wouldn't take any more bets. They said, something's wrong here, because they thought the election was over. So did I. About 10 o'clock in the evening, a lot of the people, I would say almost all of the people in this room said, this election is over. We did a great job together. But you know, there's an expression sometimes, the vote counter is far more important than the candidate, and we can't let that ever happen again. And we have to get to the bottom of what happened in 2020, and we pretty much know. Matt, Christina, good luck. It's an easy one. Detroit is going to be easy. Detroit will be very easy for them. They're going to look at Detroit. You don't even have to go any further. We're just 7 months away from the most important midterm victory in American history, and we need a landslide so big that the radical left cannot rig it or steal it. You know, at a certain point, like in Florida, like in Texas, remember they said, Texas is in play. You know what that means? It's going to be close. I said, wait a minute. What they're trying to do is rig it, because it's going to be close. I said, how is it close? I'm for oil, I'm for God, I'm for guns. Second Amendment. They want no oil. How does this play in Texas? They want no oil. They want no God. And they want no guns. How does that play? No guns, no oil, no God in Texas. And then they say it's going to be close. It wasn't close. We knocked the hell out of them. But we have to win big, because there's a certain point at which they can't cheat anymore. It reaches a certain point. We actually, I believe, they substantially went over in some cases where they had more votes than they had voters. Would you say that's a problem? They had more votes. I do believe Detroit, they had more votes than voters, right? They had more votes than voters. Little thing like that. We had more votes than voters. Other than that, it was a very honest election. This is the year And by the way, could you imagine Schumer if that happened in reverse? Schumer would have never allowed that to pass. This guy, Mitch McConnell, is the worst. This is the year we're going to take back the House, we're going to take back the Senate, and we're going to take back America.
He's going to go off for the last 10
most
minutes.
Importantly, we are going to take back our beautiful White House. With a Republican Congress, we will fight for more jobs for Michigan families, fair trade for Michigan workers, and more Michigan factories forging more products stamped with that beautiful phrase, made in the USA. That's a beautiful phrase. We will shut down Joe Biden's border disaster, institute stay in Mexico. I made a deal with Mexico. I said, you got to keep them in Mexico. They said, no way. I said, that's okay. We're going to tax every damn car you send into our country. They said, like we said, we'd love to keep them in Mexico. We're going to reimpose Title 42, which just today they ended. Basically, that says they can't come into our country. That means they're all going to come into our country at a level that you haven't seen yet. Title 42 is my deal. Add to and strengthen Border Patrol and ICE and law enforcement. And we will again end catch and release. We will end chain migration. We will end the visa lottery. And we will finish, it could be done in a few weeks, finish the wall. The wall is almost complete. That's one of the reasons we had such good numbers. Took us 2.5 years of litigation, over 11 lawsuits, so we won them all. We won them all. You know, we appointed over 300 judges. Can you imagine that? 3 Supreme Court justices. 1.5 years ago, we had the strongest border in our history. Today, we have the weakest border in our history, with drugs and criminals pouring into our country like never before. And we will hold China accountable for unleashing the virus. We have to do it. Have to do it. There are ways to do it. We will stop the Biden crime wave in Democrat-run cities. We will give our police officers our 100% support and respect. We will give them back their power to do the job like only they are capable of doing. And we will restore law and order in America, and in particular in our out-of-control Democrat-run cities and states. We will do it whether they like it or not, because it's at a point. Look, the one good thing about the catastrophic election result is that people see how bad they are. If I had won and everything was honest, legit, and I just kept running, we would have continued to go through all this stuff about all these wonderful things. Now they've had a chance to destroy our country in 4 years. So when we go back, if it's me, you got some good candidates and you have some bad candidates. But you know what? If I do make you happy, would anybody here like to see me run? Anybody?
I don't think anybody did. Only that every single person in that audience is just screaming because they're like, yes, get in there, hurry up, why are you not there?
So if we do it, we'll do it just, we can do things the right way, and we'll be able to do it, and nobody will be able to criticize us, because nobody has ever run a country worse in our history and in most other countries' history than the United States of America has been run for the last 15 months. So we'll be able to do it right, and we're going to bring back law and order. We will protect innocent life. We will defend our Constitution. We will defend the Second Amendment, and we will proudly uphold. We will uphold the Judeo-Christian values and principles of our nation's founding. We will restore more patriotic education to our schools, and we will teach our children to love their country, honor our history, and to always respect our great, beautiful American flag. So in conclusion, our MAGA movement is by far the greatest political movement in the history of our country. And the radical left is not and will not even challenge that statement, because there's never been anything like this movement. And the fake news media back there never challenges it. I say it all the time. This is the greatest because they can. This is the greatest movement. You elected a president twice, and we're going to possibly have to do it a third time. Together we're standing up against some of the most sinister forces, entrenched interests, and vicious opponents our people have ever seen, or our country has ever seen. Despite all you are hearing and seeing of China and Russia and Iran and others, our biggest danger is not from outside coming in. Our biggest danger is from the sick and radical politicians that are knowingly or unknowingly wanting to destroy our country. It's the biggest danger. It's a bigger danger than Russia and China. But no matter how big or powerful these corrupt radicals may be, you must never forget this nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you, the people that built it. This is your home, this is your heritage, and our American liberty is your God-given right. It's God-given. From Midland to Mackinac, from Lansing to Grand Rapids, and from Battle Creek, I love that cereal, to right here in Washington Township, we inherit the legacy of Michigan patriots who gave their blood, sweat, and tears for this beloved nation. This is the state where Henry Ford invented the assembly line. That's not bad. It's the place where General Motors, Chrysler, and Kellogg revolutionized entire industries. And Michigan is the state that gave us Motown and Mustang and rivaled might. You gave us the rivaled might of the great American Midwest. That's big stuff. It was hardworking patriots like you who built this country, and together we are going to save our country. We can't let this happen. We are going to fight for America like no one has ever fought before. We will not let radical left lunatics or rhinos who are unwilling to fight because they're weak and they're very stupid take away from us what has been so brilliantly built for nearly 250 years. We will not let climate hoaxers and extremists use the sanctity of our climate to destroy our country and put us at an economic disadvantage to others who do nothing but talk, complain, cajole, and laugh at the stupidity of America and its politicians. There is no mountain we cannot climb. There is no summit we cannot reach. There is no challenge we cannot meet. There is no victory we cannot have. We will not bend. We will not break. We will not yield. We will never give in. We will never give up. We will never, ever back down as long as we are confident and united. The terrible and very sick people that we are fighting do not stand a chance of victory, because we are Americans. You built this country. You built this country. And Americans kneel to God and God alone. My fellow citizens, this incredible journey we are on together has only just begun. You know it's only just begun. And it's time to start thinking about greatness for our country again. We don't talk about growing our country anymore. We don't talk about all of those things that really go to making a country great, like we used to many, many years ago, decades ago. All we talk about today is race, inflation, and the environment. We talk about nothing else. We don't talk about what it takes to make our country great again. And we always have to remember that we are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious American nation. That's what we are. We're a glorious American nation, and you should be so proud of it. And so with the help of everyone here today, thank you, Michigan, and citizens all across our land, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Michigan. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.
And there you go.
And that's, see, he tailors his speeches pretty much to each state in the middle. At the beginning and at the end, it's pretty much, like every other speech that he's ever given.
Yep.
But yeah, that middle part, he kind of, tries to tailor it to the state, and he throws a bunch of names out there. Those names that he threw out there were fairly interesting. If you looked up any of the names that were out there that he had thrown out, they all seemed very, very based for what he was actually pointing out. I'm glad that he's actually doing it.
Yeah.
He's doing a better job than he had been. So, I mean, it's...
Yeah, with his endorsements,
Yeah.
Oh, the dance! It's the dance!
And that's why it's still up, because we know dang well that he had to do that eventually.
It's the Trump dance!
And look at how happy everybody is. Everybody's like smiles. They're all like, yeah!
There's more. He's got more moves.
Come on, one more time. One more time. There he is. There it is. Like we said, he's, not the current president. He's just the ex-president. Joe Biden is the most legitimate current president of the United States. Ever. Oh, Lord. That being said, we're at 2 hours and 52 minutes. That's we're doing pretty good here. I think we should probably wrap it up and call it a night.
I would say so.
Go ahead. You first.
So you can go to americashirtsaretfirst.com. That's americashirtsaretfirst.com. The most based t-shirts on the planet, and get 15% off any of those lovely and based t-shirts in the store. Beautiful based t-shirts from the store. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous based t-shirts in the store with the discount code Koolfrogg. That is 15% off any shirt in the store with the discount code Koolfrogg. Also check me on my Rumble channel. That's, as you see it spelled on the screen in front of you, America Shirts. Capital A, capital S, all together, one word. You type that into the Rumble, you will find it. I have 180 subscribers-ish. And I have several videos up about Russia, Ukraine. So Joe, check that out as well.
Oh, and I am the one and only Koolfrogg. You can actually go and find me at the Linktree/Koolfrogg. There's plenty of places you can follow me. If you decide that you wanted to follow me anywhere, you should actually come here to YouTube and subscribe, like, share, ring the bell. If you'd like to support me immediately, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/Koolfrogg. Again, KOOLFROGG. Throw something in there, throw a comment in there. I'll read the comment and I'll actually get back to you. Probably read it live on air, after receiving such a thing. All that being said, thank you. Everybody have a wonderful night.
Later, peeps.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.